Hello, and welcome to our very latest episode of the On Point Gaming Podcast. I am CMoney, and I have a special guest today because our Doodle, he stepped out into the rain today. And listen, let's just say it took her down. All right. She was sneezing. She got the sniffles. She's not feeling well. Not making light of it. It's not funny, but it is. It's just funny that it's like as soon as if there's a cloud in the sky and a little rain sprinkles, it's like, oh man, she's down. But that's our girl. So she did say she wanted me to pass a message along and said that if she finds out that any of you guys were crying, that she is going to rip you a new one tomorrow when she's on the show. I'm just saying. So just, she's watching, you know what I'm saying? So just watch what you're writing, okay? No tears, no crying. All right. But that being said, we do have the homie who stepped in and joined us at the last moment. That's right. You know him well. It's the wise one, the author, the patriot, the pony slayer, and the pony bot tier maker. It's our boy, Harkeet Shadi. Welcome, my brother. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. So we have some news. Things are going on.
Things are going on.
Good and bad.
That's how people see it. There's definitely some news. Some interesting news for sure. I know you guys saw it, and if you guys were around earlier, you kind of saw me talking about some of this stuff, but Hellblade 2 is getting a 60 FPS boost, which is fantastic news, right? Ninja Theory going in, doing some engine work, making it happen. But no, it's not good news, guys. I was just joking you because the world wants us to be mad and angry that Ninja Theory is bringing it now, that they're bringing it to PlayStation as well. So, spoiler alert, I'm not upset, but we'll definitely. I don't think Harkeet's gonna be upset either, but we're gonna talk about it for sure. Another fun fact is I had seen it floating around, but didn't really pay too much mind to it because I kind of thought it was fake. But now it keeps spreading. Apparently, PlayStation 5s are like melting. They're saying that if you play that thing often, you're gonna be out of a PlayStation in a few years. The good news is that none of those ponies are going to ever have a PlayStation that fails because we know they don't play anything on there. You know what I'm saying? So their PlayStation gets so much rest in between that it's almost never going to fail. But you know why we know they fail? It's the Pornhub use. That's where it comes in. Well, we're definitely going to talk about that. And then this one is a conversation that I'm actually very interested in having with Hargeet. And there is a rumor because we knew that there were some layoffs coming, right? That's the rumor, that there was layoffs coming. And now there's a rumor that part of those layoffs are going to include Turn 10. It's going to have a good amount of layoffs. That's what the word on the street is. So definitely want to have a discussion about that because I think it is worth talking about because I think if we're honest with ourselves, we could have seen this coming, right? But we're gonna get into it for sure. I do see Doodle in the chat, my baby girl. She's here. I see her.
Hey,
Hello,
Doodle.
my love.
Hope you feel better. See you tomorrow.
Yes. So yes, we will. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're definitely gonna talk about some stuff. That being said, you know what it is, man. We're here live in the building with our homies, and you know that we have to shout out all of the people who rock out with us and who are supportive of us, man. You guys are the shit, and we do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Especially shout out to everybody who supports us over on Patreon and our YouTube members. You guys are the shit. Please always remember that the show is brought to you by you. So thank you so much for all your support. It really does mean a lot to us. That being said, we do want to go ahead and shout out our elite members. That's right. We have the homie Big Boy Mike, Dark Angelic, and Queen Witch. And then we have our inner circle members. That's right. Is the homie Big Miz Gaming and Pragmatic Eagle. So thank you guys for the support. It really does mean a lot to us. Thank you all so very much. That being said, you know how we do here. You guys live in the building with us right now are supporting us in such a major way, man. And we appreciate each and every single one of you guys for spending your night with us and having a good time with us. So thank you all for the support. That being said, clearly, I mean, I think we know by now, you all cannot be equal, right? It's not a possibility. All right. As much as we love you all, at the end of the day, like, come on. 3 of you showed up first. You know what I'm saying? The first 3 people in the building. You guys are the specials, right? And the first person in the building is the best spot of the night. And remember, because you guys are the specials, we're going to put your name on the scroller. That's right. On that banner down there that's just scrolling. That's right. You're forever, for all eternity, emblazed on that banner until the show ends. And then we will delete you from eternity and you have to do it again tomorrow if you want your name there. But today you did it. Now, who are those people? Well, I'm going to do a kindness and not use the real name of this person because they decided to come in hot with their government and then switched it afterwards. So we'll just go ahead and let everybody know that our boy, motherfucking Space Shot, in the building, number 3. Thank you, my brother, for being here. Appreciate you. You are special tonight. You made it with his beautiful message. Stupid YouTube. That does sound about right. You know what I'm saying? That sounds about right. Number 2 in the building. You know him well. He's our motherfucking elite member. Our homie, our brother. Dark Angelic in the building. Thank you, my brother, for being here. Shout out to you. Shout out to Queen Witch as well in the building. You guys are the shit. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. But number one in the building, the best spot of the night is our boy, motherfucking Coach Hoodie Canuck in the building. Thank you, my brother. Shout out to Canuck, number 1 in the building, man. Thank you for being here, bro. Best spot of the night. Again, your names will be emblazoned on the banner, and I will do that now before I forget. So first 2 people in the chat are here, and that's going to be Coach Canuck. It's also going to be Dark. God damn it. Stop it. Why? Dark. Angelic. And why do I get a brain fart? Didn't I say his name? Space Shot. God damn it. Ooh. Space Shot. Okay, boom. Dunzo. Beautiful. Love it. Done. You're there. You see? You made it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for rocking out with us. Space Shot, not fucking around. Number 1 in the building. I mean, number 3 in the building. But number 1 super chat of the night. That's right. First super chat of the night. Our boy with that $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Says, this show is an Xbox. I mean, technically, it sounds about right. You know what I'm saying? It does sound about right. So thank you, sir. Let me add you to the list as well because you did it. So you're pulling double duty tonight with the first super chat of the night. Space Shot. $2 super chat. You did it. Boom shakalaka. All right. You're in flight. Beautiful. Dunzo. All right. Cool. I do see the homie Sherwin Williams in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. I see Cage of Vampiro Borracho in the building. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you for rocking out with us. Do you K now, the Broke Boy Insider? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Also, try to give me some smoke earlier. Broke Boy, how dare you? How dare you, sir? Blasphemy. Can't believe it. Betrayal is what they say in these streets. Ren in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for rocking out with us. Bounty in the building. What is up, my brother? Thank you for rocking out, man. Thank you for being here. Malcolm X Lax was good, my brother. Appreciate you. Outward Lyric in the building. What is up, man? Thank you for being here. Of course, I see my Doodle, my love. I see Michelle Alexandria in the building. What's going on, homie? Appreciate you. Thank you for rocking out. Queen Witch, what's going on? Trey Bone 408, what's up, fam? Thank you for rocking out. Thank you for always tagging me on Twitter from with cool shit. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Wow. What is happening here? What did I miss? Did I say something? Sorry. He said angry. I was confused. I thought he was talking shit, but I don't know what he was talking about. So I'm gonna just forget that. That was Cage. Becca in the building. What's up, fam? Thank you for rocking out. Appreciate you. Sir X-Men in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for rocking out. Cubini Gaming. What is going on, homie? He says, I just paid for a super chat, but it didn't go through. Well, that is curious. I apologize that happened. I don't know what took place. But shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being here. I see Jonas the Dad in the building with a public service announcement. Says hit that like button and share it out. Absolutely. Appreciate you, fam. Spartan661, what's going on, my dude? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, man. Fillmore Pockets in the building. What's up, my homie? Saw him put in work in the chat in the show earlier, slapping up some of these fools who were crying. Fillmore Pockets, he was like just slapping people left and right with the bars. They don't like bars. They don't like facts. Like facts just annoy them because it makes them not have an actual reason for doing anything. Kubini Gabe says, "Somebody, I paid for a super chat, but it didn't work. Now I can't send another." Says I paid for my super chat like 5 minutes ago. Says, yeah, now I can't send another. It says I already own it. That's why I didn't know you can own a super chat. That is crazy. Well, I apologize. I really don't understand why that's being crazy, but thank you again, my brother, for being here, man. Appreciate you. Steve-O in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. Talking with Bob. What? Oh, thanks, man. Says I always enjoy this show. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Erican in the building. What's up, man? Says my Steam library is on my Xbox PC app. I wish the PC version of my console games like Baldur's Gate 3 were as well. You saw that, Harky? It's starting to
in the preview mode, right? So not in the production yet. But yeah, that's coming. We knew.
Supposedly it's already showing up also on like ROG Allies and such.
Yeah, I mean,
it's already happening. So and
Yeah,
it looks pretty seen. Have you seen it actually in motion? Like how it works? Yeah, it seems
I haven't
like it's
bothered
actually
to turn on my ROG in a while. I should probably power it up and see what it looks like.
Yeah, they we do have a video. Like we already talked about it on the other show that this was happening, so we're not gonna like talk about it or anything like that, but I will show you because I do have a bookmark that I did of somebody actually using it. Yeah, here it is right here. So I'll show you guys real quick. If I do this, share this, do this, go here, do that, and then bring it up. Boom. All right. So that is Tom Warren. And he has
also got Riot Games.
I'm not trying to do that, but he puts it on. I know another one. All right, is he gonna launch this shit? Or is he just showing us? I really don't need. I'm not looking for any of that. Maybe it wasn't him. Okay. If it's not him, then I think it was Paris. Let me see real quick. Yeah, like he just put a video of it. Just put there you go, right here. Boom. Okay, here we go. See, launching a Steam game via the Xbox app on PC. And that's it. It's that simple. Just so he's on the PC app. Just hit play. Like you don't even have to open Steam. Like Steam opens in the background. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's pretty smooth, right? Like that's essentially the ideal situation, right? You're not just having a link to it and then click it and then it's like bringing up Steam and opening it or anything like that. It's just taking it, pressing the button, going right in, easy peasy, right? I think that's a I think that's an easy enough way.
Yeah, and if you use Play Night, you get used to that because that's kind of how it works there too. So
If you use who?
Play Night.
Oh, is that like
It's a launch aggregator, so it's freeware. You can just download it on Windows, and it lets you connect all your stores, and so you get one aggregated view of all your games, and whichever game you launch in the background, it'll make sure the launcher is running, and it just launches the game. That's it. So,
I mean, I guess the idea is that Xbox doing it kind of just brings it all into where you want to be, right? Like you want to be able to get to your Xbox games, and then from there you have access to everything else. And if your dream is to turn your PC into a Xbox to be able to just launch in, this is like the best case scenario. I don't know if I guess it's just Steam though right now that's working. Like I haven't seen anybody posting about Epic or any of these other.
well, we know BattleNet is coming, obviously, because they own it, right? So
yeah, I mean that's their stuff. So that
and then they'll probably have Epic there, I'm sure.
Did they kill the Bethesda launcher?
I think so. There was no use for it anyway. So
yeah, I remember I had I think I got Rage 2. I think I had it on the launcher. I don't even know what happened with it. I don't know if they just deleted it and it's gone forever. I really don't know. But it was it wasn't great. So I guess as long as it's just gonna make everything seamless, that's all we want, right? Just an easy access. And the fact that it's already kind of working on the handheld again, which is kind of that's the dream scenario on your handheld, all your stuff is just there. It's a beautiful thing. Before we hop into the topic, I do want to go ahead and shout out our boy Kubini Gaming. He has just become an official YouTube squad member. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you much. He said, I guess the subs work. That's a good thing. I don't know why the super chat didn't go through. I mean, also if you just have the message you were going to say, we could just say the message as well, bro. So, but thank you, my brother. Y'all know what to do. Put the motherfucking welcome to the family emoji in the chat. Welcome back. Our newest member is our boy Qbeanie Gaming, man. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate the support, man. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much, bro. All right. Let's get to it. All right, we started a little late tonight, so let's hop into this bad boy. So I do have my little bookie. Take this. Take my chapter. And then we will get rocking. OGP. So do I have it here already? That's not the one. Go here, go here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let me take the chapter and then I'll bring it up. Timestamp is right there. Okay, chapter 1. All right. As you can see on the title of the show, I put Hellblade 2 60 FPS update makes fanboys rage. Okay. Now, this is the thing. I was very disappointed that this is even a problem because I can't see how a company updating a game and making sure it's available on the original console that the game launched on, how that's a bad thing, right? So Ninja Theory put out a post says Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 Enhanced includes 60 FPS performance mode, updated photo mode, developer commentary, and dark rot challenge mode. Okay. So it's coming August 12th to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox on PC, and Game Pass and Steam. And the pre-orders on PlayStation now, on PlayStation are now live. Okay. So now you can go and pre-order Hellblade on PlayStation. So again, they have a nice little graphic here that kind of shows you everything. Again, you got performance mode, that's 60 FPS, dark rot challenge. The dark rot will grow each time you fail. So basically, I think that's kind of, you remember it, Hargi, in the beginning of the first game where before the game came out, or like right when it came out, there was this idea that every time you die, the dark rot was going to take you over, and if you die enough times, that you were going to lose everything. And it turned out to not actually be a thing, right? Like
yeah,
but it doesn't actually ever happen. Well, I guess now
you have that, huh? Wow.
I guess that would be cool, right? Like if you really want to challenge yourself, I think it might be cool. I'm thinking about, there was still some of the achievements that I wanted to get, so I might go back, but that might be a cool way to do it. Enhanced photo mode, I mean, that's cool. And then developer commentary, hear how Ninja Theory crafted an award-winning experience. I mean, this is all good stuff, right? Like this is good news, right? I think we can agree here that that's cool that this is happening. But people are
and you know why it's happening?
Why?
Is because when it came out, I believe I'm pretty sure it was on UE 5.3.2, and in 5.4, if you remember, they introduced 60 FPS mode for UE 5. So the next rev of the engine is when they had some enhancements in the engine that allowed you to target it. It turned on and turned off certain features, but it gave you pretty close to the same quality. But it did some software things within the engine to allow you to target a 60 FPS at a lower res. It gave you a 1080 60. That was a 5.4 feature. And my assumption is, like, look, they locked it at 5.3. That was where they were. They had to get the game out, right? 5.4 came out maybe like a month before this game came out. This came out in like May, right? I think it was May. And I think 5.4 was released in like April or something like that.
May of last year.
So there was no way they were going to update the engine like the 5.4 in the last 2 weeks or whatever it is, right? That was just not going to happen, right? So they were at 5.3, they were locked, get all the testing done, get it up and running, and get it out, right? Just go get the product out the door. At that point, just because of UE 5 and where it was in performance, it was just hard. You saw that with a lot of games that were having struggles trying to get to that performance, right? And they finally introduced it. They introduced it last year. And now you see more and more games use that. They use 5.4 and could get you the 60, right? And I think it's just really, they just said, okay, fine, now we can update it, right? We can update to the latest version, and it now has that mode, and we can test it out, make sure it works. And lo and behold, that's my understanding of why that would have happened, because like the engine literally came out like a month before they released the game. There's no way they're going to.
They literally built the game alongside the engine.
Yeah, exactly, right?
You literally watched the birth of the game go through its stages.
I mean, they were using this as the demo, right? When Unreal was doing their own stuff, they were saying, "Oh, look at what we've done with Hellblade." This is like they were showcasing Hellblade, right? So obviously, like they worked with it as much as they could. They put it out in the best they could have. At least from my understanding, that is what it was. It was just like the engine. Yes, it had that mode, but for like 4 weeks before this game came out. It was just not a chance to update the end. There's just no way you can do that because you have to go through rigorous testing. There would absolutely be bugs. It probably takes them 4 to 6 weeks just to test it to make sure it works, right? Because you're changing things. It's going to change the way the
and
game
they
works.
wouldn't know.
So there's no way
100%. They wouldn't know 100% that it would work right off the rip, right?
So
it
you
wasn't
don't
like
change the engine
either.
right before
like
release.
they're
That's
literally
not going to happen.
They were making the game to work perfectly at their 30 FPS cap, and that's what they did
because that was
and
what was available to them, right? And since then they have the availability to say, okay, now it's out. Let's go ahead and update and see what happens, right? And
I mean,
go
don't
the
get me wrong, they
test it.
They obviously could have done 60 and just had to lower everything down.
Well, it was tough to do because you would have to turn off so many features, right? This heavily used UE5's Lumen and Nanite feature set. And if you're going to do that, you would basically take that away. And like, well, that's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to take advantage of what UE5 was offering, right? So it's like, okay, cool. But UE5 fixed that for them. But it just was too late. It was too late before this game came out. So it doesn't surprise me like that's what happened. This has just kind of been the thing. Xbox has been pushing the envelope with new engines, new games, new right. It's not just regurgitation of old stuff. And because of that, they've had to run into these little performance things. It just is what it is, right? So it then takes them a little while. They figure it out and then say, okay, cool. Now we can give you that mode because the target isn't get the engine to that level. The target is get the game out without bugs, right? That's the target. And then it's like, well, cool. We'll give you performance later. Now that's their choice. It could be a different choice where you say, no, you know what? I need it to have 60 because of some, perception issue of power and performance. Okay, then that game would have been delayed, right? You would have expected this to probably take another 6-ish months at least before it comes out. Maybe more, depending on how many bugs show up because you updated the engine. So I don't know. It took them a year, right? Now basically this came out last year, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a year and like 3 months.
Yeah, and it's coming out when? August. Yeah. So it's basically a year, right? Because like May or so, whatever. When it came out in August. Yeah,
it came out in May and now August. So 3 months and a year.
Yeah, so it's going to be like, and that's how much time it took them to do a port and to move it over to this newer engine, right? So, whatever. And that's comfortable. I think that's the right amount of time. It is work to bump the engine level. It is work. So. And that so whatever. I don't think they needed to wait for the release to have a 60 FPS. Just fine. Put it out and fix it. That's fine. Whatever. Now, for me, it didn't matter because like both of us, we have a 4090. I just went to PC and said, no problem for me. I can run at whatever frame rate I want to. So
it's crazy because again, I was able to go ahead and play it on the 4090. I played it streaming on GeForce Now, and I just played it on the Xbox. Doodle played the entire game just on the Xbox, and there was no conversation about, man, this game feels odd. It feels off. This whole thing. I guess the frustration that I have is that like the game came out and we all loved it, right? Unless it's not your type of game, right? But if this is your type of game, for the most part, we all loved it, man. It was beautiful. It played well. I didn't hear complaints about, man, every time I swung, it felt delayed, or I didn't feel like I had control. I couldn't dodge, or I couldn't parry, or any of that stuff like that. That just wasn't part of the conversation. And now it's become a drastic thing. So what am I talking about? Why is this a thing? Well, I'm not going to go through go search this and find all the tweets that people are doing talking crap about it. But just under here, you could just already see like Kids Move. So why did Xbox have to wait for a PlayStation 5 version to get 60 FPS? Like, I don't know if you remember, Harky, but there's another high profile game, probably one of the highest profile games to launch new IP this generation, and that was Starfield. And Starfield launched at what?
30.
30 FPS.
And already got it 60, right? I'm pretty sure it's at 60
And
now
a
on
year
console.
later,
Yep.
they did an update, not going to PlayStation 5. They just took a year. You know, you also got to remember, man, like these people, they worked on the game for how long, busting their ass? I think after they finish the game, maybe they deserve a break. Not like, yo, get this 60 FPS out. No, they didn't promise 60 FPS. They didn't do anything. They went ahead and they said, we're going to work on it. And they did. They just worked on it in the background. And Starfield came up with a 60 FPS update. Wow, look at that. They did it without PlayStation 5 involved at all. It's almost like they just took the time to get it done right. Because if you don't remember, unlike PCs, which are based off the power of the PC you own, able to run these games at 60 or higher, but at what fidelity, right? Do you have a strong enough PC to use the Xbox Series X settings and do 60 FPS? Is your PC powerful enough to look better than Xbox and have 60 FPS? Or do you have to balance it out? We know for a fact that the average person in all of PC land does not have a 5090, 4090, any of that stuff. I think isn't it like the 1080 or the 20 something series that is like the average, like what most people still have.
I don't know if that's changed over time. It might be higher than that, but yeah, it's probably
It's
in the
always going to be one of the lower model
20-something
cards,
range.
right? It's not a
Yeah.
higher card. It's always a lower model card, right? So at the end of the day, you know, not everybody could just say, I got a PC and I'm going to make it look better than the Xbox. But either way, the point is that was there, which is cool. That was always there for Starfield. That was always there for Hellblade to be able to run that. But for the console, it's a limited scope. Like there's always trade-offs, right? If you get your game at a certain fidelity and you try to crank the frames per second, right, the FPS, there's a balance where you have to say, okay, well, I'm making the game 60 first. So I'm just going to see how high I can make it look. Like how good can I make it look while maintaining that rock solid 60? And then there's people who say, okay, well, the goal for us is to make this the most beautiful game that has ever been made. So we're going to target 30. Why? Not because 60 wasn't possible, but because they know that if they do 60, they have to lower their expectations on what they can reach with the fidelity. So they go and they say, okay, our target is 30. We're locking at 30. That's the lowest FPS we're going to have. So from there, it's just about how far can we push without breaking that 30 line, right? How far can we push? And that's what Starfield did, and that's what Hellblade did. And then they took a year and are getting it to this point. But I don't understand why we need to try to make this about play. Like how long are they going to keep saying this stupid shit? Like what does it matter?
Well, I mean, like
That,
I
like,
assume
what does it
like
matter?
going forward, we're not going to see as much of it, right? Because more and more games that come out now will have that 5.4 available to them. So hopefully it won't be an issue. But look,
Well,
it's
we're at
essentially the
5.6
normal
now,
thing.
right?
Yeah, normally what happens, you release a game, you probably take a hiatus, like, you know, done. It's fucking done. Yay, it's out there.
Yep.
Good. Let's take 2 weeks, right? And then you do bug fixing. That's usually what happens, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of bugs that show up. Cool. Let's go fix the bugs. That's probably the next 2 to 3 months. And then you start figuring out how to tinker, right? And so then you add a few months of tinkering, and they usually when you do updates, you don't just do an update for a small thing. You just say, well, okay, along with that, we're going to give you this new feature, this new whatever. Those might take time. That's it. That's all it takes, right? And like a year later is kind of normal. Sometimes you can do it faster. Like if you're Call of Duty, people are used to getting updates a lot faster, but that's because they have literally thousands of people that only do Call of Duty, right? That's not Ninja Theory's. How many people? Like 60 or something? Well, like whatever. So you got to give them a little slack here. They can only do so much. And they also have another game coming. Remember, Project Mara is still there, at least that we know of, right? So
And possibly a different game with that other image
Fair
that
enough, right?
you don't know.
It's like, so they're adding features, which you saw, right? They're adding features, they're creating another port, and they're also updating the engine in the background and making all the bugs go away and all that. Like, it's just, come on, just like, it is what it is. It takes time. People expect, like, instant turnaround. They're used to, like, telephone level. Hey, I clicked and it should just happen now, right? It's like, dude, that isn't how the world works. Everything takes time to do. It's like, it just is what it is. We have like a ADHD level, like immediate change expectation. Like, dude, it isn't that easy. So, I mean, I live in this world, so I'm used to it. Like, it just, yes, anything can be done with coding, sure, but it does take time to do the coding. It's not like it's instantaneous. Well, AI may help that. It might, right? But it may
I think
not.
that's going to be a big difference too, where a lot of this frame stuff is just going to kind of go away because it's all going to be mostly fake, recreated frames anyway. So I think that's going to make.
No, I don't mean AI there. I mean the coding, like to update things, to add features,
to
all that. The actual
like
coding, actual stuff in there. AI might help, but from up to now, what AI does gets you like 70% there, 80% there, and then you still have to go fix the shit it didn't understand or it did wrong, and then you have to kind of add the other parts that it just totally missed, right? So AI isn't perfect. It's not going to give you 100%. So, but it does give you the 60-70%, right? And so that might help you make it a little faster, right? So maybe that makes it better, but ultimately it still work no matter what you do, because even AI churned out a bunch of shit for me. Cool. Now I need 2 weeks to just read what the fuck it did. Did it do it right? No, that was wrong. That was wrong. Let me go fix it. Right. So it's just the way it is. And like weeks, months, it's just the norm, right? And once you do something, you have to regression test and make sure everything still works. And when it comes to a game, that means play the fucking game the whole way. So you have to understand that's what it is, right? And somebody isn't just like running through the game no, you have to go to every nook and cranny and make sure it doesn't have a bug, right? So that's play testing. That's what you have to do, right? So before it comes out, that's like the 6 to 8 weeks of like continuous test. Make sure every part you go to does not cause some weird stupid bug, because we made some weird changes and it could cause glitches, right? So this is, unfortunately, that's why it just takes a long time, right? So, and everybody wants instantaneous. Why isn't it already there? It's like, well, give it a chance.
I mean, especially since like, dude, like we all played it. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly it just kind of is what it is. We already did. I wouldn't have, like, this type of game in particular is not like, hell, Starfield was more of a twitchy experience because you were in gunfights and really needed to aim right and do all that stuff at certain points, where this is really not that. So it's not the craziest thing in the world to begin with. So it really wasn't an issue switching from 60 to 30 to 60 when I was playing it. And like I said, Doodle played the whole thing on Xbox at 30. So there was really no issues or problem.
It does have a different kind of game style, right? Where it doesn't necessarily matter that it's 30. But again, I'm not going to say that we shouldn't have it at higher frame rates. That's great. It's awesome.
I mean, it's fine if it's possible. But, like, I don't care. But the point is like, I'm not going to condemn them for releasing a 30 FPS version a year ago and saying, hey guys, we cracked it. We got to 60. So there's two things.
But again, I played it at much higher frame rates.
Yeah, exactly. But there's two things that when you look at it, it does show you that there is this baseline that they're looking for, right? Like, there's a certain bar that they want to maintain with the aesthetic. They don't want to go too far down in quality as far as how it looks just for 60 FPS. And the way you know that is because it's not on the Series S. So the Series X version is the only one getting the update alongside the PlayStation 5 and the Pro. It's not just the S. And the other thing that you can see is that, I told you like a long time ago, and this is why GTA 6, which, by the way, I better hear everyone crying about 30 FPS on GTA. The world better be burning because that game launches at 30.
Whatever.
Right? Because
my assumption is it's 30. I would be 100%. Surprised if it's 60. But hey, maybe they pull it off. But like, I'd be surprised.
That would be wild.
Because it just feels like it wouldn't be GTA if it did that. Right?
Well, I feel like they're going to do. I feel like they're going to do the same thing that they've that Hellblade did and Starfield did. They're gonna say,
Yeah.
well, we want this shit to look at the most amazing possible. So we're gonna do 30 and we're gonna push everything. And if you want better than that, you wait for the next gen patch that we're gonna get in like what,
Xbox
5 months
next, right?
after. 5 months
The
later, when the
Xbox
next
next,
Xbox
yeah.
launches at 60, we're gonna see how that does. But the point is, PlayStation 5 Pro, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of clowns
Now,
who
if
think that it's
history
gonna be
continues
60.
the way it usually does, we should probably know about that next Xbox before the release of GTA 6. So
Yes.
when GTA 6 comes out, it's going to tell you, oh, by the way, we have a next gen patch for the new next Xbox. It will run 60.
Well, technically, they didn't. Did they, when did they drop the patch for the series? It was like after, right? Well, after.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't like on launch, so maybe they won't, but at least there's a chance, right?
Oh,
But
I think they'll be ready. I think they want that next
I mean,
next gen.
I think Xbox will want that as well. But the point is I told these clowns a long time ago, and without fail, it still hasn't happened. There's these clowns that believe in this mythical idea that the PlayStation 5 Pro can play games at 60 FPS that are not already 60 FPS on the base model. And to this day, I haven't had anyone be able to show me a game that is 60 on the Pro and not 60 on the PlayStation 5. And that's because the factual situation for PlayStation 5 Pro is that it will only ever do 60 if the base console runs at 60. There is no difference between the base model and the Pro model. Whatever the base model can do, the Pro can just do it better. Not a 30 FPS to 60 FPS jump. So they had to update the Series X and the PlayStation 5 so that the Pro can have a 60 FPS mode. If there was some type of ability for that Pro to do it on its own, that's where it would have shined, but it didn't. And it never will. So for all your people who saying it's gonna run 60 on the Pro and they think GTA is gonna run 60 on the Pro, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with that idea and then disrespectfully laugh at you. You dumb bitch. Sorry, I'm just joking. I'm just added. That was a little more that's more of a Doodle moment, you know what I'm saying? Because she would have just mocked and laughed, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, I do see our boy RC Polygon in the building. My dude, thank you, my brother, for being here, man. Thank you for that $10 super chat, homie. Says Hargeet Chani, what do you think these people who always cry and say Xbox stepped on a rake and all momentum is gone, which with each layoff without missing? It's just a big cycle of crying for these people. Okay, so Hargeet, what do you think about the notion that there's a group of people that anytime they hear about a layoff or anything like that, they believe Xbox stepped on a rake and screwed up their momentum because they're handling business stuff that we shouldn't be exposed to, but in our industry, there's people who decide to leak it and we go up in arms for it. What do you feel about the idea of Xbox dropping the ball?
I'm used to this because, if you work in any very large, publicly traded company, there's a quarterly gyration that occurs because of financial reporting. And it's just normal. This is just normal. There's some cleansing so that the books look good. And then after the financial report, we start increasing again. And then, it comes the fiscal year end. Oh, we're going to be targeting these things. Let's shift away from that, shift away from this. It's just the normal gyrations of publicly traded companies, right? So I'm just used to it. And maybe there are people who aren't used to it. And that's fair. So as far as like the standard, we're cutting 5% or something like that. It's just
but
sucks.
Is that
I'm not suggesting it's great. It is what it is.
Is that them stepping on a rake?
Look, it's gonna continue to always happen, right? So from my perspective, and I've said this for the Sony ones that happened, and right, like the EA, the Ubisoft, everybody's doing them, right? And I'm like, another year, another set of layoffs. It's just the way it is. Like, you just get numb to it because it's reality. It's just how it goes. And I don't even know if this is entirely, layoffs or restructuring, because I'm hearing it's restructuring, and I'm like, so what is actually happening? So we don't know. We really don't know, right? And it could just be like, hey, we surged up to get games out, and we're going to surge back down now that the game's out, right? And we're going to like do the normal development we do, and when that gets closer to release, we'll surge up to get that game out and surge back down. And that, unfortunately, that is also part of the game dev cycle. Is at the end of the development cycle, you need more people to get the game out of the door, and then you get rid of them afterwards. And a lot of them are contractors. Some of them are employees. It's just unfortunately the way this industry works. Now, am I going to be shocked if that happens? No. But look, are there? Is it stepping on a rake? I don't know. Like, I don't. You can look at anything in the news cycle and say it's stepping on a rake. And you can certainly say the same thing on the other side. Like, almost everybody except Nintendo seems to hire and fire all the time, right? So, is that stepping on a rake? I don't know. Like, to me, it's the largest market cap corporation in the world, right? So, is it going to do these kind of things? Yeah. They're also trying to do this Microsoft is flattening thing, right? They're kind of getting rid of some middle management and stuff like that. Okay, cool. That's going to change things, but that's at Microsoft level. I don't know what that means for Xbox yet because they haven't told us anything. It's probably imminent because it's end of this month is their fiscal year end, right? And they only have like tomorrow or Monday. You don't want to have the news cycle be on Monday. So it's probably likely tomorrow we're going to find out what the hell is going on, right? Because you want to do it before the weekend. Now, whatever time, probably like at 5 p.m. Pacific. Oh, by the way, here you
go. Yeah, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Right? Like, get out of here. We don't want to talk about this. Here you go. Here's a note. go mull over it over the weekend. It's just so normal, right? So I don't know if it's really stepping on a rake. Stepping on a rake would be we're shutting down, Bethesda Game Studios. Like, yeah, that would be stepping on a rake, right? Like, but if you're just shuffling things around, it's like, I don't know. Like, let me see what it is first, right? And then I'll figure it out. I think Turn 10 is one of the ones that people are talking about. If you talk about Turn 10. What if they're doing the same thing Halo's doing? And they're saying, you know what? Do we really need Forza Tech? Can we just move to UE5? And that way we don't need...
Don't go too far with Turn 10 because we're going to talk about Turn 10 by itself.
But anyway, so I'm not sure about the whole...
Let me ask you a question. Does Amazon step on rakes when they fire people? Is that them?
And that's my problem. Everybody that's in a publicly traded situation, they generally tend to do this, right? Especially if they get very large. It's just normal. And like, there's always like... We bet on this thing last year. It ain't panning out. We're going to kill that. Oh, that's like, 500 people gone. And we're going to go do this other bet. And they don't tell you the fact that the 500 head count there is going to go to something else where they're going to hire 500 people. And maybe some of those people that were already working there will go to that thing, right? But like, whatever. This is just the normal gyrations. I'm so used to it. I don't think it's stepping on a rake unless they do things that just are nonsensical. Right. But let's see what they do. Right. Let's see what they do. Right. So if they suddenly said we're going to kill coalition, like, why?
Like, exactly. Right. So like things that would affect us, things that would affect us negatively, it'd be like, okay, well, that's interesting. What is happening there? And that's actually why I am breaking out the idea of Turn 10 by itself, right? Because that is something that could potentially affect us. So that's something worth talking about. This other shit, people get fuck. Come on, man.
But let's find out what it is, right?
Exactly. Michelle Alexandria says, it seems the only devs that matter are Xbox devs. Anyone else? Party time. F those woke devs at EA. Go Sony. No one likes games as service or live service games. They deserve to be fired. Yeah, right. The other place, the people who made Dragon Age, right? I saw somebody saying, oh yeah, you guys deserve to be fired. Hopefully you never get a job again. It's like, oh, that's funny. So those like certain groups of people are okay to be fired. But other ones do. Gotcha. Man. Just want to make sure. Yeah, it's bull. right? It's bull. It's nonsense.
So yeah,
That being
I don't
said,
know.
with as far as Ninja Theory is concerned, thank you for that super chat, RC Podcast. Appreciate you, brother. As far as Ninja Theory is concerned, though, again, they're not updating the Series S version because there is a certain standard that they're looking to keep, and going to 60 FPS for that game on the Series S might not keep that level. So they're keeping that 130. And as far as the Pro is concerned, clearly it can only do what it can do. Based off of what's done on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. But what do you think about this idea? Because this is another thing that I've been seeing a lot. And this is from the homie Max 380. He's the homie. I've seen him. I think so. I might be confusing with somebody else, but I think that's one of the homies. But he says, I'm sorry, but this should have been the case day one. This is why lately I've stopped buying games, playing games day one. This is happening more and more with these new games. So what do you think? I mean, you brought it up earlier about the engine, but I mean, do you think like that this should have been day one if clearly that would have equaled a pretty significant delay?
Again, I said the same thing. Like they could have delayed it, but it would probably been a good 6 to 9 months, just to get it to that mode. And is it worth it to get it to that mode? Maybe that's a decision of Xbox, right? That if the platform is more important than the game, right? Because there's some level of like, I don't know, credibility that's involved with performance. Okay, that's a decision that at a platform level, at a fulfill level, maybe they say, yeah, that has to be delayed. Okay, that's their choice. The choice they made instead was to say, no, that isn't the choice. It's about the game. So let's get the game out and let's let people enjoy the game. If they want to wait for a 60 FPS, fair enough. But I mean, and look, waiting is always an option, and you probably should do it for a lot of games because a lot of games come out buggy. This wasn't one of them, as I recall. It didn't seem to have too many bugs. But
I don't remember any bugs, to be honest with you.
yeah. So, as far as, normal games, a lot of them come out buggy. So if you want to wait, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with waiting. If you don't suffer from FOMO, which some people do, then yeah, it's not a problem. Wait, that's up to you as a consumer. You do what makes sense for you, right? So if you want to wait, no problem. If you want to, play it now, no problem. Yeah, play it whenever you want, right? It's up to you. If you want ultimate performance, I'm going to have an option for you. It's called get a PC. Don't worry about it.
Facts. The whole conversation goes away in that case. All right, so this is another one here, okay? And this is where I think I get a little more annoyed with this, but I'm going to read it. I want to kind of get your take on it first before I kind of go in on this idea. So, this guy TY Tom 56 or TT Tom, I don't know, TT Home, whatever the fuck. T Thomas 56 says, not gonna lie, part of me is elated that you're adding a 60 FPS mode. Still, I distinctly remember y'all saying something else entirely last year. Why is 30 FPS good enough for the Series X, but the PS5 gets a 60 FPS mode and PS5 Pro enhancement when it comes to them? So first of all, this message is completely wrong because the Series X is getting 60 FPS, right? So that's just a lie. Okay. But let's see what he quotes, right? So in Yahoo News, speaking to GamePro, the game's environmental art director, Dan Atwell, and VFX director Mark Slater Tunstall. Now, just listen to the title of the people talking real quick. VFX director and the environmental art director. Okay, these are the art people, the people who put what you see with your eyeballs on the screen. Those are the people who do it. Okay. And they explain that they believe 30 FPS is the best way to play the game, as alongside the letterbox aspect ratio, it creates a cinematic feel. We don't want to offer a frame rate mode or anything like that. because having 30 FPS was a conscious decision from an aesthetic point of view. Going to 60 FPS gives us nothing, they said. In fact, it probably would have only hurt us in that what we want to achieve is how we want to keep the film aesthetic and the film look. And then he put this picture, which I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like reading comprehension needs to increase in this world because, like, literally, he's saying exactly what we've been talking about. I don't want to go too far. So him, alongside a lot of other people on social media who are calling them liars and the play thanks to the PlayStation 5, that's the only reason this is happening and all this stuff. Why didn't we get it? You're lying. You told us you didn't want 30 FPS and now magically you want 60 FPS and blah 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 blah. When you see this, when you hear and read the quotes from the visual people, the people who put the graphics on your screen, them telling you that they don't want 60 FPS, they don't want any other modes because 30 is going to let them do the most visually.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how is that them lying, or how does
because look, you can
being a problem?
It's you can take it from two perspectives, right? So I get what they're coming at and saying, hey, wait a minute, you said you only wanted 30, why are you doing 60? But I told you why, right? Because at the time they were locked in they could do it, they could do 60, but it foregoes the entire visual aesthetic that they were looking for. You literally have to turn off everything. They had that available in UE5. You could turn it all off and you could get your 60 FPS. But then it would look nowhere near what you got. It would not look like it at all. It would look like a UE4 game, right? And that was not what they wanted to do. They wanted to have a UE5 level graphical fidelity game. And it was, it was just a matter of maybe a 6-month delta when 5.4 came out that does give you like 95% the same quality at 60, right? But that had to, you had to change the engine. And they're like, well, we're not doing that. So you're getting 30 because we want to take advantage of those features. That's it. That's all it is. Now, if you don't see that explained out, it may, from a consumer perspective, seem like they're just lying. No, at the time, that was the right choice. And that just, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that is just, I wish they would explain that, right? Because it's like, it literally, you could do that. 5.3 did introduce the ability to say, turn it all off, give me UE4, right? Even though I'm on UE5. But I'm turning off all the nice new bells and whistles. Okay, cool. But that's not what they wanted to do. That's literally what you could just tell from the art folks. They're like, no. I want that. I want that visual fidelity. We worked on that. That's specifically what we did. So no, I want that.
He's talking to the art people. You know what I'm saying? The quote comes from the art people. This, like, don't be fucking stupid. Don't say Ninja Theory said this. This was the art people who want their stuff to look best that it can fucking look. And if you tell me that you think that they could have done 60 FPS without hindering their vision of the fidelity that they wanted on the screen, then I have to tell you to respectfully go fuck yourself. Because that's some bullshit to say that you think that they could have hit 60 back then and kept the visual fidelity that they wanted.
That's the problem.
You are not the dev, they're the dev. And they wanted their vision on that screen. And they not only achieved that, but there's nothing still, even this Death Stranding bullshit that people are hyping up as if it's the second coming. It's not, fam. Get out of the cutscenes. Get out of the cutscenes. Go into gameplay. Zoom in on that face live during the game. Not photo mode. Don't do no photo mode. Obviously, we know photo mode enhances everything. Turn the camera, pause that shit right there, do a standard fucking screenshot, zoom in on those fucking people, and tell me if that shit looks anywhere near what they have in those cutscenes. And then turn this bitch on again, play Hellblade, and tell me the difference, bro. Hellblade kept that look the whole time. It is a stunning game. There was no moment that game did not look beautiful. They hit their goals. You now coming a year later trying to tell them, how dare you, you stupid bitches, go ahead and update your game because the technology now available allows you to keep more of the fidelity and go to that 60 FPS. What trashy developers, what useless fucks, right? That's what we should say to them, right? That's what we should do. Hargeet, get a petition going. We need to tell Ninja Theory that they suck balls for being able to enhance their game a year later using the newest tech that's available. Okay? They suck dick. Man, these dick suckers over there at Ninja Theory. If only they could have fast forward time, bring the tech from the future into the past, and release the game on an engine that wasn't there yet. If only. What pieces of shit. What?
But I guess from a consumer perspective, they don't know that, right? And like I suppose it's not really their problem, but it's up to Ninja Theory or somebody to just explain, hey, look, this is what it was. That's why we're doing this. We now have new enhancements. That's it. There's something available to us. We're taking advantage of it. That's it. But yeah, I get it from both sides, right? It's like, yes, it's kind of cheesy that it was a 30 and now they're doing 60. And yes, they said that their vision was this. It's not the vision of 30. It's the vision of, I want my graphics. I just want to have it look the way I made it.
But that's what they said, though. Like, let's not put words in their mouth again and just look exactly. Because having 30 FPS was a conscious decision from an aesthetic point of view. This was their quote. Everyone else is putting words in their mouth where they said, oh, we don't like 30. We don't want 30. I'm sorry. We don't want 60. We only want 30. We don't want, no. They don't want 60 because of what it's going to do to their graphics that are on the screen. That's why they didn't want 60 at the time. The same reason Todd motherfucking Howard from Bethesda said the same shit in the interview before Starfield dropped. And he said, I prefer it at 30 because we could do all the bells and whistles. And I want all the bells and whistles. And then a year later, they went ahead and did it at 60 FPS. And let me ask you a question. Was the world melting down? Did they all call Todd Howard a piece of shit? You stupid hippie bitch. How dare
they always
you
do
not
that
give
anyways, right?
Well, I mean, they were going to do that anyway. But he's definitely not getting the smoke like Ninja Theory is getting the smoke now, right?
Yeah. And again, to me, it didn't matter. I, again, played it on PC. It's like, oh, it's at 30? No problem. I've got a PC.
That's it. If it means that much to you, go fucking find another way. But at the end of the day, like I said, Doodle played the whole game at 30. No problems. She did not come to me and say, babe, man, it looks really nice, but god damn, these controls suck dick. I couldn't do any. No. She fucking loved it. We love this game. Both of us. She played it at 30. I played it at 60 on PC, played it at 60 on the handheld, and then played it 30 on the system, on the console. And there was no problem for me. I never felt like, oh my God, what am I experiencing now that I'm touching this Xbox console? No, I move in this game world. You know how slow I move in Hellblade? I'm walking like 3 centimeters a second to just experience everything. I play these types of games in trailer mode. I want to go and just absorb every ounce of what they put in this world. God, come on, man. Yeah. I hate it. It's, again, the quote is right there. That is what they said. They said it from the beginning. Anything other than 30 FPS was going to compromise their desire to reach the aesthetic they wanted to reach. So tell me, I want to know what perspective could exist. What perspective, Hargeet, could exist that justifies saying anything now about what they did back then? They said it back then. They didn't want to compromise. They released the game. The game's out. The majority of people who were going to play that game on Xbox and PC have played the game on Xbox and PC. Now there's a new place that is coming, PlayStation 5. And you know what? They don't give a shit about PlayStation 5. They're just saying, you know what?
Yeah.
We have the update. We can do this. Now we can make it 60. And they're on the Series X with the upgrades to the engine. It's not the end of the world. But they still didn't give you 60 on Series S because that would have compromised the image of their game. And they didn't want to do that. So right now, I feel like that's it. Let me ask you this, Hargeet, because I know you're when you're not destroying lives with your fire and wrath to the ponies, you are the level-headed one. So do you see how me reading this and then hearing people bitch about it, do you understand where I'm coming from, that I'm so annoyed?
Oh yeah, you can
that
see
these
both
people
sides of
come
this,
out?
right? It's like
Why?
you know, understand the reasons at the time versus now, right? Things change over time, right? And like, why did Red Dead Redemption 2 come out at 30, and why could it do more now? Well, because there's more oomph available in the newer generation consoles. That's it. It's just that simple, right? That thing came out a long time ago, and you can now use the power of the new boxes. And I believe they're releasing a patch for that. Is that right? Something's happening with that, where it's going to be 60.
There was a rumor. There was a rumor.
Yeah, there was some rumor about that,
happening.
right? So,
and then he apologized for getting everybody's hopes up. So I don't know. I don't know
what that really
means.
I
don't know if that's.
But that's the thing, right? It's just there's more oomph available, and that's why. Or changes in the engine occur, and you can now do more stuff. I'm sure that, like, hey, they took for Starfield, they have the creation engine. They might have gone to it and said, hey, can you guys help us out and figure out how to make creation engine work more efficiently so that we can actually do 60, right, and do it better. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, right? I think there was some, it's like, talk about
Coalition
them, like,
helped them get there.
Well, Coalition is it's possible that's UE, right? But they have
I know there was talk that Coalition had helped them with the shooting, but they debunked that and said no, that was actually in-house. They did their own shooting and they made it that good.
Yeah.
But then after the fact, I think Coalition was the one that helped them refine the engine to get it to run at 60 on both.
And so that's the kind of thing, right? So it's like they can take advantage of people to help them out, fix the engine a bit, and then there you go, right? And that's an in-house engine. When you have like Forza Horizon versus Forza Motorsport usually does the bump up in the engine itself, and then Forza Horizon takes advantage of that and uses it in the Horizon games. Like that's the kind of thing that you get, right? But that takes time and that takes effort. And if you're just building the game, you're like, let's get it out, right? Let's get the game out. And I don't know when they had a dev kit for these boxes and when they started targeting these boxes, because remember, this was supposed to be releasing 21, if I remember right. Was that right? In 2021, and then it got bumped, or was it 2022? And then got to 2023.
Starfield, right? Or Hellblade?
Starfield. It was 2022.
Starfield was 2021. No, it was originally going to be 2021, but then they got bought and Xbox bumped it, and it was going to be 2022.
And then it got 2023, right? Is when it came out.
And then it got moved to 2023.
Yeah. So 2021. So how much time do they really have to play with those dev kits? I don't think they had that much of it. They had time, and that's usually what happens at the beginning of the gen, anyways, right? The games aren't as optimized, right? So, and then you just give them time and they optimize it, right? Usually the games at the latter end of the generation tend to be optimized when they come out, because people have already picked up all the little, the cool ways to make things work better, right? And they kind of put that out there for people who are doing dev. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's just, it kind of is what it is. Whatever. I like it. There's this perception of console wariness that says, well, the Xbox Series X is not the most powerful console because it's like, get over it. Like these kind of things are just stupid. Like most of the games that come out work the same or better on Series X. That's been a norm. Are there one-offs here and there that work better on PlayStation 5? Sure. That happened with other generations, right? One or two of the games worked better, or some number of games worked better on the Xbox One versus the PS4. Are you telling me the PS4 was shit in comparison to the Xbox? We already know the Xbox One was way lower power than the PS4. So what? It is what it is, right? Does that mean that maybe the game itself wasn't optimized versus no, it's the console, it's a PS4 that sucks? No, come on, we already know the answer. They just didn't optimize it appropriately. Whatever, it is what it is. So that happens. It happens. If you focus on just getting the game out, man, look, one of the problems with Bethesda is Bethesda. They wanted lesser bugs. That was what they focused on. And that's a good thing. This is the least buggy release they've had. That's a good thing, right? And Xbox is like, take your time. We don't want a Bethesda game. Take your time. It still had bugs, but take your time. And that's why it was the least buggy game they released. It still had bugs, obviously, right? But it was one of their better releases in quality, from Bethesda. So that's what they focused on, and that's fine. It is what it is, right? And then they focus on other things afterwards, fix the bugs that they had, and then add a 60 FPS mode. Fair enough, right?
I mean, that's what they did, and they did it well, right? There's no reason to, go deeper into it and try to make it like there was
bad if you're a console warrior, and that's really it. That's the only reason it would matter, right? If you're just playing games, you play your game. You got your game. Go play it, right? And from my perspective, I've had the answers. Like, if it's not at the performance level I want on my Xbox, I've got a massive PC sitting right next to it. I just go to the PC. I don't care. It's fine. It's an input switch for me. I don't care. Luckily for me, all these games are in Game Pass, and I can play them on either platform. I don't care.
Agreed. Like, I just put the trailer on, the new trailer that they just dropped. Again, nothing even close, bro. Nothing. Look at the landscapes that are there, and they have the balls to bring up Kojima's landscapes. This game came out last year.
I just finished
last year.
Speaking of Kojima, because he uses the Decima engine, I just finished Horizon Forbidden West and Burning Shores.
How was it?
And I mean, the game was meh. It was okay. I'll give it like a 8, right? Something like that. The dialogue part of it does get a little meh, but okay. But whatever. You can ignore that. But the graphics, like, people saying that was the most beautiful game, they're fooling themselves. I'm sorry. Horizon 5, Forza Horizon 5 was, to me, more stunning than this was. I definitely see the oversaturation of color. And maybe that just fools people, right? Because that is a normal thing. People will just oversaturate color. Why do you think they put food dyes in things? Because it fools your senses, right? But it didn't really look anything like. I'm looking at the ground. And I'm like, it's not close. It's just not close. It looks like UE4, or it's definitely like old gen stuff. It is, right? And just because you saturate some colors doesn't make it look better. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. It's not that next gen feel to me, anyways. And of course, it isn't a next gen game. That game released on PS4. It's a PS4 game. Okay, you can bump the res a bit, maybe add a little HDR. Okay, but fundamentally it's a PS4 game, and that is definitely what it looks like. So, and Horizon 5 is an Xbox One game. And yet it's still stunning on the Series X. It's stunning.
Yes.
But hey, whatever. And then you got this, right? This is truly this pushes the boundaries. There's some games that push the boundaries.
Next gen game.
You look at that ground while it was just panning past it, and you're like, dude, the detail on the ground it's come on.
Dude, but detail with other shit going on. Like, you look at the Kojima shit, and I have fucking footage of that. It's literally just landscapes. Literally, that's it. Like, they Google map that bitch and just laid it out, and that's it. Like, that's all it is. There's nothing. It's not like, oh my god, this is breathtaking. No, it's just
that's not real landscape, right? They didn't photogrammetry that. That's just they generated.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look it either. And again, I can even show that, but let me get my boy Dark Angelic in here real quick with that $2 super chat. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, played Hellblade 2 on my LG OLED and the Series X. Says was worth 30 FPS. Absolutely it was, man. Absolutely it was. It's just the truth, man. But now this is the thing, Harky, right? They want to cry and they bitch. But what if they just brought the update to PlayStation 5? And they said, fuck it. We're putting out this new game. Nobody's going to rebuy the game on Xbox because we're doing this update. It's been out for a year and change. It's on Game Pass. fuck it, let's just do the update and put it on PlayStation 5. Would that have been preferable? Was that the better scenario? Right? So should we tell them, yo, do me a favor, don't bring it out on the Xbox? No. Just put it on the PlayStation 5. That way, we can go ahead and be upset about it. Like, would that be the better version of this? Because from all I see is that they updated the game, they're putting an update out on Xbox, and they also happen to be releasing the game on another console, and they're getting the same update that Xbox people are getting. Like, is that not an option, Hargy? Could they not have done that? If they were going to get this,
that would be kind of annoying. But yes, they could have done that.
But you see how you just said that? It would be annoying. Now, I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
You go ahead and people think that, oh, CMoney, he's not going to give anybody any smoke from Microsoft or Xbox. Let me tell you something. Had they gone ahead and put out this update on PlayStation and not on Xbox, I promise you, I would have been like, what the fuck are they doing? That's some bullshit, right? Because see, this is my thing with Xbox, and this is what all these people don't understand. Xbox is serving me very well, right? I am taken care of. I have Game Pass. I'm getting every first-party game put in the Game Pass every single time, day and day. I'm getting third-party games day and day. I'm getting updates, upgrades, everything. Whatever they get is just coming my way. We're good. They're doing updates for their new release on PlayStation after they released it on Xbox. Guess what they do? Whatever update they did, it comes to Xbox. We don't miss anything. We don't lose anything. I'm winning all the time. I don't have need or room for tears. This is all good stuff. This is all happiness on my end. Why would I go and give them shit for something that is not negatively affecting me? Now, had they gone ahead and said, fuck you, Xbox players, okay? Nobody else is going to buy this shit. So we're not going to spend any time updating it on Xbox. We're just going to focus on the PlayStation and putting out an update on the PlayStation that makes it run 60 FPS there, but not on the Series X. Then, fuck you. Then it's like, why would you do that shit? That's some asshole shit to do. Do you agree, Hargy? Would it have changed your perspective if they did not release it on Xbox?
Yeah, or Steam as well, right? So I think because it's an enhanced edition that adds other features, right? It's not just the 60
on PC. There's a higher level. It doesn't mention in that tweet, but there's a higher level of fidelity now that you could do on PC that you couldn't do.
Yeah,
before.
Exactly. So I mean, certainly they should put it everywhere, but yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cheesy to only give it to PlayStation and not put it on the other platforms that you already support, right? To give them the additional features, additional performance, why not, right? So I think that would be kind of bad. So unless they like do it right afterwards or something like that, right? It's like maybe it's like it took us an extra couple of weeks. Fine, okay, I'll let that go. But yeah, I think it would be bad if there wasn't an equivalent. They did that with, what was it? Was it Pentiment, I think, where they released it on the PlayStation with the higher frame rate or something like that. And then it's like, no, that's coming to the Xbox as well. It just took us a few more weeks. And it was like 3 or 4 weeks later, it came out to the Xbox. Like, okay, fine. But it would have been kind of nice to just have it at the same time.
I mean, that should have happened at the same time. But at the same time, like, it was just funny that Pentiment, of all things, was a thing running at 120 FPS, and all those people who talk shit about Pentiment, how bad of a game it was, and all this other shit, went and tried to be like,
suddenly
"Oh,
it was
look,
a problem, right?
It's a fucking cartoon game, 2D drawing."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like, who needs the frames? You're literally just
like,
walking like this or
about?
this. It's literally walking
ridiculous.
back and forth on a 2D plane, and like, it's, come on. So, but anyway, yeah. So that patch came, but also let's also understand that was like 5 people or 6 people, whatever, at Obsidian, right? That made that game. So cut them a little slack. That it takes them a little while to get it to certify for the Xbox version as well. Whatever. Yep. I don't see.
And remember, people lost their fucking minds, by the way, about that Pentiment shit. Like,
yeah, whatever.
I don't know. Like, you can't make this shit up.
I'm one of the 10 people who actually played that game.
Well,
it was a great game. I loved it, but
I actually
not
enjoyed
too many people played
for
it
a while. There was
Yeah.
just other shit out at the same time, and I played it for a while, and then I started playing other stuff. It was still good though,
Yeah.
but I mean, the fucking game got 10s. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah. It like
like
immediately
like
starts doing like this shock shit, and you're like, "What the? What? Huh? What?" And you're like,
it
"Oh,
wasn't a
okay.
miss.
What just happened?" So
It's true though. It's true.
it was pretty good.
So yeah, it was fine. It was fine. There's different strokes for different folks, right? Like if you're gonna go ahead and have a service, you know, um, at the end of the day, it's a um it's really just a service that really needs to have a breadth of content and a spread of genres that can appeal to different people, you know, and they did that, right? It's a great game. It services the people who like that type of game fucking loved it, right? And the people who don't like that type of game, doesn't matter what the score is because they don't like that type of game. It could be the best in that genre, just like Ara History Untold. I think it was a phenomenal game, right? But if you're not able to try different genres or you know, if other genres don't interest you, then it doesn't matter to you that it was a phenomenal game. But that's just what it is. So Xbox has just been hitting on you know, in every way. Um, and you know, like let me get this. Let me get our boy over here because he was here. He was in the situation earlier, and I think there was a confusion because I definitely wasn't talking to him. But that's Sin. Sin, what's good, man? Thank you for being here, brother. He was at Boom Show earlier where we had this discussion, and it got a little heated. And I think Boom read Sin's comment or something like that, and like I was getting heated from the situation, but it wasn't because of what Sin said. It's just the thoughts in general of some of these people. But he says I agree, Simone. That would be real bad. And I'm enjoying Game Pass immensely as well. He says, doesn't change my opinion on the matter, right? And that's fine, right? People don't have to agree on everything, right? That's for sure. And it just kind of is what it is, right? That's why there's a lot of different uh shows and stuff like that on YouTube, right? Because there's a lot of different opinions out there, and it's okay that they are different. So I just like I think there's a difference between like having an opinion on something and then going out there and trying to really create this narrative as if there's some heinous shit taking place here. Um, and I mean, I find it so hard in my head to see how there is a negative situation here at all. Um, like the alternative would be that they just kept it at 30 FPS on everything and just said, fuck it, we could do 60 FPS now, but we're not going to because it's going to what upset the people who played it and loved it before, right? I don't know. I don't see how that's a thing. And if you played it and didn't love it, then it really doesn't matter to you that it's 60 FPS, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's really a problem that is just fabricated to be a problem, right? Ninja Theory should be getting kudos. They should be getting applauded for coming out here and updating their game. And again, taking advantage of the advancements in the engine that they do not control, that Unreal went ahead and updated their engine to be able to run at 60 FPS better. Because if you remember, if you go back to old Digital Foundries and go back to old, just other headlines from when UE5 was first coming out, there was a whole discussion about how Unreal Engine 5 can only do 30 FPS reliably. And all these games coming out were all 30 FPS with Unreal Engine 5. And now that has changed. Now there's been updates to the engine that now allow that to happen. And they are taking advantage of the updates and not letting their game stay where it was. And they're updating it, taking advantage and making it so that you could do 60. And they're saying that at this level, the actual ability to go to 60 FPS on the Series X is at an acceptable level of degradation, right? It's still going to be degraded no matter how you cut it. It's not going to look as good as the 30 FPS version for sure. But they are able with the engine optimization to make it where you're not losing that much so they can keep the general aesthetic the way they want to. And again, you can tell that easily because on Series S, they are not putting the 60 FPS patch. So again, at the end of the day, it just kind of is what it is, right? Overall, I just watching this shit makes me want to go back. It makes me want to go back and fucking play it again, man. Oh my god, this is quite the achievement they did, man. Don't forget that PlayStation Studios, Insomniac Games, has taken Hellblade 2 and put it on the top of their whiteboard as that's the goal, guys. We want to get there. You're talking next year, they're hoping 2 years after the release of this Hellblade, they're hoping to achieve Hellblade's level of excellence with Wolverine. Listen, God bless them. I hope they do. I hope they do. That might make it worth trying out. But yeah, as far as everything else is concerned, this is just kind of is what it is, man. I just don't see the craziness that's involved. One Punch Jedi, thank you for being here, brother, says, at the time, Xbox needed this game to come out. Not another delayed game at the time would have been optimally bad for Xbox. Yeah, I mean, that's also true, right? Because that was the whole basically that was the first party game of 2024, right? Like the back end of 2024 was crazy. Back end of last year, we had a whole bunch of games drop, but that was the first party game that dropped in 2024, right? So, yeah, it would have been a horrible look if they would have said, "Hey, can you imagine the tweet and the image? Hey guys, we heard your cries. So we're going to delay Hellblade 2 for 6 months to a year so that we can get 60 FPS mode working on the Series X. It's perfectly playable at 30 FPS. And in fact, we're still going to launch the game on Series S at 30 FPS. But we're going to take 6 months to a year to go ahead and make it 60 FPS because we heard your cries." Hargeet, does that satisfy you as a customer? You're getting ready. You're excited for Hellblade 2. You're like, man, May's coming. We're going to get it. And they're saying, hey, guess what? We were going to launch May 2024, but we have a new release date for you with 60 FPS on Series X only of August 2025. How does that go over with you personally? Put yourself in that situation. Rewind time. You were looking forward to Hellblade. What situation do you feel when you get that message that says for 60 FPS on the Series X only, we're delaying the whole game, even though it runs perfectly well on 30 FPS. In fact, that was our vision from the beginning, but we're going to delay it because of the people who are so upset with us, and we don't want them to be upset. So we're launching August. How do you feel when you read that?
Yeah, it wouldn't be August. I'll be honest. If it's May, you're probably looking at least November.
No, August 2025. 2025.
Oh,
Remember,
wait till another year.
August 2025. I mean, that's when it's launching, right?
Yeah.
August 2025 is when this is launching.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a customer that happens to have an alternative, right? So I'm probably a bad, case for that, because for me, it's like, just give me the game. And I've been one of those people. I don't care. Give me the game. I want to play the game, right? Just make sure it's not buggy as fuck, and just give me the game. I want to play the game. And I've got the raw oomph to be able to do it on the PC at whatever frame rate I want, right? I just turned on Doom today to try the path tracing. And yeah, when I turned on everything at full mode, it was saying 30 FPS. I had to like tweak it a little to get to 60.
Wow.
I'm like, holy shit. But like, I have the raw oomph to say, okay, you're releasing it on 30 on console, no problem. I can just play it on my PC, no problem. So Starfield was 30. I'm like, no problem. I got a PC, no problem. Right? I can just play it there. So for me, it's like, give me the game. I just want the game. As long as it's not a bug fest of annoyance, then just give me the game. I'm happy with the game because I can just play it on my PC. A lot of customers don't have that, right? And so I can understand it for their perspective. If it's like, oh my god, but I have to point out, this is a very specific type of game, and the gameplay, you really don't need the frames. It's just, and I don't know how to explain that. It's not an FPS. It's a very like fluid, dynamic game of the way the motion works. It's probably okay at 30, but like I don't care. I played it at whatever frame rate I could get. It was definitely up above 60 on my 4090 rig, right? So, but like, again, I am a specific kind of customer. To me, I just want the game. I like playing games, so give me the game. I'm happy to have the game. What I don't want is a Cyberpunk situation where the game is just garbage at launch, and like that should not happen. Like, make sure the game is actually playable. Then great, right? As long as you do that. And what they should have done there is say PC's working. We'll release it on PC. Next gen is working. We'll release it on next gen. Previous gen, like they did with Hogwarts. They said, yo, we got PC and next gen. Those are up and running. It's working well. Here you go. We'll get to the previous gen and Switch when we have it ready, right? And that, I think it took another like 3 to 6 months for those to release. Fair enough. I think Cyberpunk would have done way better if they had done that. But that's what I don't want to have. I want to have it be clean. When you release it, it works. But outside of that, like, just give me the game. I don't care. I can grunt it on my PC if I really want more frames, if I want more graphics. And that's what I do, right? If I want to see it at high fidelity, I love Game Pass. Well, I can play it on both. And I've done that with Doom. I've played it on both. I don't care. It's like, fine. I'm on a party chat. I'm just going to play it on my Xbox now. Like, and the save comes right over. No problem. Continue my game. No problem.
You saw they're updating. You saw they finally updating the cloud save situation, where it used to be like, oh, the cloud, the save is not updated. Try again, and you keep trying. The shit never works, and you just gotta be like, nah, fuck it, just leave it where it is. Now they're actually doing the update where they're showing you, okay, hey, your thing didn't finish, but we're updating it. Give it a second. We're gonna get there, and it's like, there you go. That's what you need. It's got to always be seamless. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that's the kind of thing for me. I would rather have the game, because again, I have the option. I can just put it on my PC. I don't care. It's fine. Right. So I would rather play it. I don't want to wait that long. An extra year. It's like, come on. If it was wait like 3 months, I'd be like, nah, okay. But it would not be 3 months. I guarantee you it would not be 3 months. It would take. Yeah, it would not be 3 months to change the engine and do all the retesting and all that. It would be way, way more than 3 months. It would definitely be 6 to 9 months of work. So I don't want to wait that long. That would definitely put it this year. It's like, no, I'm all set. Give me my game.
Yeah, I mean, same for me, right? Like, this is the thing. The one thing about not the one thing, but the thing about Xbox, right? They have so many first party studios, right? Like it's a ridiculous amount of studios now. And we are now in a place where there's just so many games, right? Like, there's so many games lining up, just coming out constantly, that it's almost like where you're gonna find the time, right? But when this dropped, that wasn't the case, right? When this dropped, they still had all the studios, but the games weren't dropping that quickly. Like we said, the year that this dropped, early last year, it launched in May, and that was the first party game that dropped. We had day and date releases on Game Pass from third parties all the way up until that point. But as far as first party, this was the first swing. And it's like after that, when was the next one that came out? Was it like August?
What did come out last year? I don't even remember now.
August or September. I feel like
It's
that's
a
when a lot of
blur.
like the Aura History Untold, Age of Mythology.
Right. There's a bunch of those kind of games, right? Like
Yeah, there was a bunch of games that
did
dropped.
Flight Sim come out
Flight Sim, I
sometime?
think, was around that time as
Yeah.
well. That was
Um,
all towards the back end, and then Indiana Jones closed it out, and then obviously Call of Duty was a huge one. And then Avowed got pushed to this year. Oh, Stalker, but that's not first. That wasn't
that was in
that
December,
wasn't
right?
first party.
Stalker.
Stalker was in November.
November. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, November.
Oh yeah, December was indie, right? Indie came out.
Yeah, December was indie. Yep.
But yeah, it was a great year.
Yeah. It was a great year, but like this game just needed to release. And like, look, I know again, now when Xbox is looking at things, they're like, just fucking let it cook and just be done when you're ready, and we have other shit that can release, and if you're not ready, it's okay. It's not a big deal. But this game needed to drop, right? It needed to happen when it happened, and it hit. It was beautiful, it was amazing. And this is just going to give it a nice little second second wind, right? And again, if they can get to 60 without affecting the visuals in a major way, then good on them. They did it, right? Congrats. Like, that's kudos. Again, congrats. Thank you, Ninja Theory, for putting in the work, for going ahead and doing that update. So, all right, that's enough. Do you have anything else to add to this, brother, before we move on?
Nope.
I do have our boy Avocab72 in the building, member for 14 months, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much. Says, I think people are upset because that since the PS5 is getting the updates, it will make the PS5 Pro version better than the Xbox update. But it's not going to be better than the PC version, right? So, like, if you have if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you have access to the best version of this game for free. And I can tell you right now, you don't need a 4090 to look better than the PS5 Pro version of that game. Okay. That being said, like, I think the idea that a game is going to look better on a PS5 Pro, I mean, wouldn't that just be like of course it should? It's a stronger piece of fucking equipment, and it's a more expensive piece of equipment, right? So it's stronger and more expensive. Why would it not?
Yeah.
Why would it not be? Right? It's a piece of tech from 2024 compared to a piece of tech from 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
Why is the 40-year-old person running faster than the 50-year-old person? I don't know. Maybe because the 50-year-old person is fucking older. So then the 40-year-old person has more energy. Now it's the opposite on this. It's the younger box, right? It's the newer console. Let me ask you a question. Are we going to be saying the same thing come next year when the next Xbox drops? Assuming that everything lines up the way it seems like it's lining up, are we going to be saying the same thing? Right? We laughed and we said right from the beginning when we had that, we said, yeah, the Pro's going to come out, and then 2025 is going to come, and then 2026 we're getting the new box, and then what's going to happen? Then you got to wait 2 years for the next PlayStation to come out, and by then they might have already been 2 more updates to the Xbox from different OEMs. like what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying, Abacab, but it's like those people who are upset that there's going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro version of the game. go buy a fucking PlayStation 5 Pro then, or go buy a PC. Like like the people who have a Pro had to go buy the Pro. You know what I'm saying? They had a PlayStation 5 and they went and bought a Pro instead, right? If that's your desire, then go do it. But understand that they bought a new piece of tech, and a company who's making games are not going to hold back because of some emotional bullshit that console people have issues with. It's the newer box. It has more power in the box. It should have some enhancements. Now, the joke of the Pro is that even though it has all that power that's extra, it turns out that you really don't see much boost from anything. Because why? Because it still has the same CPU, and that CPU is worse than the CPU that's in the Series X, right? So you still end up in situations where it really doesn't do that much of a difference to justify it. But I mean, listen, to each their own, right? If you have a Pro, you have a Pro. You got it. You're good. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy your shit. What other people are playing doesn't fuck with you, right? The Xbox version looks amazing. It looks beyond stunning. Still not a game anywhere that is better looking. And it's funny because I said it before that PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, they got their first next gen looking game when they got Forza Horizon. They got an actual Horizon game that actually looked next gen, right? So you got Forza Horizon 5. That was the best looking game that PlayStation had on its console that you can play. And that title is now going to be taken by Hellblade 2, another Xbox game. You know what I'm saying? This is just what it is. We got the homie Spartan661. My brother, thank you so much for being here, my dude. And thank you for that $2 super chat. It says, what is the new Xbox 360 update all about? Isn't that just they put now they have ads for the Series X and S on there?
And S, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the update.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just like, hey guys, you're still playing this fucking console? Come and play a goddamn Series. Buy it. All right, buy the Series S or X. Jesus. You're fucking 2 generations behind. All right, there's better shit out there, man. Stop playing Call of Duty. What? Black Ops 2 or some shit? Like, come on, man. Fucking upgrade. And we have our boy Mac22TH54, member for 6 months. Thank you, my brother, for your support, man. It really does mean a lot to us. Says CMoney, why does every other Xbox podcast other than yours and Doodles do nothing but complain about what Xbox isn't doing to make them feel special? My dude, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. I honestly, I can't comprehend it. Like, I can't. And I don't know. Maybe it's like entitlement. You know, maybe it's, I don't know. They feel like because they bought it, they have like power over the company, or that makes them, I don't know, feel better, feel cooler. I know for sure. Let me take half the answer. Some of it I don't know. A lot of it I do know. A lot of it is for their clout, right? They have like PlayStation friends that they talk to, and the PlayStation friends are like, all right, you're a real one. You give Xbox smoke, all right? You give them the smoke. That's right, because Xbox sucks, and you give them the smoke. Like, that's what they just want to be in with the cool kids. That's the way they look at it. They want to be like, yo, my friend says I'm cool, so that's all that matters. Like, it's this thing where people think keeping it real that's what they're doing. They think they're keeping it real, right? And like, I don't know how you're like, I don't know how fans of things work. Like, when I'm a fan of something, if I have a problem with something that I'm a fan of, right? So let's say, I think I've used this before, but I think it still holds true now. If one of my teams, my favorite team, on a basketball team, right? Let's just say I have a favorite basketball team. I don't know, whatever's a good team. And that's my team. Let's say the Lakers. Favorite team, mine. Great. and they do something that I don't care for 100%. Would I go to like 76er fans and be like, "What's up, 76er fans? Yo, I fucking hate my team right now. They suck so much balls. They made such stupid moves. They traded this kid. This is the worst. They're the worst." No, no. I'm gonna say, fuck your Sixers. My team shits on your team. That's what a fan does. Like, that's my team. That's my shit. I rep my squad. Now, I may go in the background and talk to my other fellow Laker fans in private and be like, damn, that shit was crazy, right? Like, why would they do that? But that's just, I'm not going out there to rip them an asshole and then be like, yeah, but I still love them. Like, no, shut the fuck up. You like what? You're crazy. Like, that's how shit works. All right. You don't go out there and try to destroy the thing you love, right? And then be like, but I still love you. No, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. I don't know what it is. Maybe you're just raised different. Like I always was taught. You never bite the hand that feeds you. If I am getting something that I'm so happy with, why am I going to bitch about stupid shit that doesn't matter? Why? Why? Look at what matters to me. I sum it up real fucking quick. You know what? You know what matters to me? The games I get to play. That's what matters to me. Not whether or not Xbox laid off fucking 44,000 people. Not whether or not PlayStation is getting a version of the game that I get to play. I don't give a fuck. I care about the games that I get to play. And the second part of that is I care about my wallet. I don't care about Hargeet's wallet. I don't care about your guys' wallet out there. Your wallet is yours. My wallet is mine. I care about my wallet. And my wallet says, thank you, Xbox, for motherfucking Game Pass. Because this year alone, I would have spent over $800 on first party titles alone. $800. That's just a rough number. And that's not including third party games that I would have wanted that we got free in Game Pass day and date. Tell me that I am now gonna cry because motherfucking Ninja Theory put a 60 FPS boost now, a year after release. I'm gonna give them smoke. Fuck out of here, man. Are you crazy? With all the good I get, you know what the type of people are? Those are the people that I fucking hate. And I'm not saying you particularly if you're in here, but I do hate these type of people. Is these people that no matter what you do, enough is never enough. No matter what you do, is always, what have you done for me lately? Like, are you shitting me? That's like having a kid who treats you like shit when he's grown. It's like, bitch, I made you and I got you to this point, and you're gonna be an asshole to me? Are you crazy? Like, why would you be that way? Why would you go ahead and look at everything you get? You are the envy of the town. You're the prettiest girl in the room when it comes to gaming. You're the only one being showered with gifts. Yes, other people wear Louis Vuitton, but they gave you that Louis Vuitton. Everybody else had to go buy that shit. Yes, that's a different situation to be in. Abso-fucking-lutely. Tell you right now, I am so grateful for what gaming is today across the board, not just Xbox. With all these other devs, they're pushing great things. The only one I would say who's really shit in the bed when it comes to my excitement for gaming, not even fuck the console war bullshit, because fuck you guys, I own the shit. Okay, it's fucking PlayStation. They're the only ones in this entire thing that I am completely fucking disenchanted with, because they are not producing shit that I give a fuck about. Okay, it's just the reality of what it is. All right, Nintendo, I really don't think about much, so they're not really in my thought process. Um, but I am excited for Donkey Kong now that I saw that. Right, so they at least have something I'm looking forward to. PlayStation has nothing I'm looking forward to. I enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't love it as like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing, but I enjoyed it. If this was Ghost of Tsushima 2 that was continuing that story and it was the same guy, I would be excited for this game. They said, fuck you guys who like that first game. We're going to change, even though that story should have continued, we're going to change it. We're going to bring you this new bitch and we're going to go ahead and just put you in the future. Fuck it. Right? That's all. Enjoy. Like, no, I don't need that shit. I don't care. I'm not looking forward to that game. Death Stranding just came out. Man, the glaze. These motherfuckers are treating this like a piece of goddamn rib on a fucking barbecue. They're glazing the fuck out of that shit. Bro, I watched the first hour of gameplay and I fell asleep twice just staring at my phone watching it. I was like this. Oh shit, it's doing it to me again. That's what happened with the first game. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. Walking. I'm falling. Come on, man. And these motherfuckers out here acting. There's no ray tracing. There's no path tracing. Look at how amazing it looks. It doesn't look that amazing, dog. Come on. There's nothing in the world. There's nothing in the world. And then as soon as you put things in there, somebody put a clip up with like some lights or some sparks flashing around. That should look blurry as fuck. Like I feel like I couldn't even see what's on the screen. Like that's how not attractive it was. But it's like it's a glazed it's PlayStation game. It's not a PlayStation game. It's a game that's on PlayStation for now, will be elsewhere later. But we got to glaze it. Meanwhile, this game, it came out last year, and look at how amazing this game looks. And you have the balls to talk about Death Stranding as if it's ushering in next generation. Are you cracked? Death Stranding doesn't even look better than Forza Horizon on PlayStation 5. The landscape of Forza Horizon, the environment of Forza Horizon looks better than Death Stranding 2. So I'm sorry, but cut the shit. Okay. So Mac 22, when you said, why does every other podcast complain about Xbox doing things that don't make them feel special? The second group of people are the ones that I was talking about. The other group of people, I don't know. Maybe they're just in it with their friends. You could tell really like you see the friend circles that exist on YouTube. You're not blind. You know of them. And, a lot of them, they just kind of rotate the ideas amongst each other. One person feels that way, so the other person feels that way, the other person feels that way, and they all just kind of high five and call it a day. I mean, look, it is what it is, bro. I don't know. But what I will tell you is that we will never, ever give three shits about what anybody else thinks about anything. When you come here, you're hearing what Doodle and CMoney think. That's it. I don't care. And when we have a guest, you hear what Hardgeek thinks. When you have Demo on, you hear what Demo thinks. But this is not a propagate thoughts amongst everybody and bring it to you after. No, sir. It's not what it happens here at all. But I appreciate that member chat, Mac. Thank you so much. Okay. That being said, let me get Grungehead over here. He says, hell yeah, thank you. Ghost of Yote looks so uninteresting, and I love Tsushima. Why change the story? That's the question, Grunge. That's the question, right? And that's where you start thinking about a lot of stuff that gets said, and it's like, I hate the narrative that exists, but sometimes it's like, well, maybe that's the narrative that's happening here. Why change him? Perfectly good character. Story was fine. I was actually like, oh shit, if they make a part 2 of this, you now are officially becoming the ghost. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on which way you would have went, but they said that they were planning to make a part 2 of this story, and they said the canon version of the story was that Jin became the ghost and was now going to be the ghost, and that shit was gonna be epic. He was gonna be hunted. It was gonna be crazy. It would have been there was a good foundation for a great game to be made there. And they said, nah, fuck it. It be what it be. Let's change it up. Like, okay. Okay. They changed it up. I tell you why they changed it up. I'll tell you exactly why. I think I said this before. They changed it up because they're not changing the engine. They changed it up because it's going to look almost the same. They're just going to add a little bit. So they're trying to just put it in a different place and put a different character there. So you can't do a side by side and be like, look at Jin then and look at Jin now. They're giving you the same character model quality as they got with Jin on the Yoche chick. That's why. We got the homie Bounty in the building. Thank you, my brother, for being here. Thank you for being a member for 17 months. God damn. You are the man, bro. Appreciate you, homie. Says, I skipped Death Stranding 10 times in 1 hour. I couldn't go on. I delete that shit. I'm glad I didn't buy that shit. Thanks for Game Share. Yo, I mean, there's certain games, right? There's certain, because I'm not going to BS anybody. I enjoy a good cutscene. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy a good high fidelity cutscene. I like if they do good storytelling. I'm for that, right? I understand there's a bunch of different types of games that exist. I have plenty of shooty bang bang games. I have plenty of different types of games. I'm okay if there's a game who wants to tell me a story, like Hellblade 2. Amazing story. I mean, they filled it with amazing combat and you know, the visuals and exploration was all fucking amazing. But you know, I'm okay with them telling me a story, slowing things down a bit. So Death Stranding has moments like the original one has moments that I saw in like trailers and stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, it might be cool to try out that point in the game. But it's like, how the fuck do you get there? Well, you have to fucking deliver fucking packages for like 48 hours, man. Like, no, bro. No. You make him athletic. Okay, make him know how to walk. It's baby steps. It's, you know, I heard a secret. The people who make baby steps did an interview and they said, well, we got our inspiration from watching the fucking Kojima character fall every goddamn seconds trying to walk down a hill. That's a lie. I fabricated that. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, right? If you heard that in an interview, you would be like, checks out. You know what I'm saying? Checks out. He does fall constantly every fucking 48 seconds that you're playing this game. Like, no, man. I'm not down for that, bro. It's crazy talk. Okay? It's crazy talk. All right. Let's move on to the next chapter. I have it here. Let me get my timestamp. All right, chapter 2. Guess what? PlayStation 5's are melting down. That's right. There's a story here from WCCF Tech that talks about a liquid metal issue. So they have their headline is here. It says PlayStation 5 liquid metal issues could cause many consoles to die in a couple of years as more users are reporting problems over time. Says the previously reported PlayStation 5 liquid metal issues are becoming increasingly widespread, and many units, especially launch units that are out of warranty, could die in the next couple of years. First of all, just that one little sentence there brings me back to our time playing Final Fantasy 16 on the PlayStation 5 when it launched, and being live on stream with Doodle there, and we're trying to fucking live stream this game and play it, and that shit crashed like 4 times live on stream. So much so that we said, fuck this game and switched to Diablo. Okay. 4 times. And it was because of overheating. Doodle burnt herself because where she was sitting at the time, she was close to the PlayStation. She could just reach over and unplug it. And it literally like was burning her hands doing it, right? That's how much that stupid console was overheating. So that liquid metal shit wasn't doing anything. Okay. Um, so let's continue on over here. So speaking on the latest episode of More Law Dead, Alderan Games founder Matthew Castles highlighted how the system's critical flaw is causing the liquid metal used for cooling to drip down the bottom of the console when placed vertically, causing dry spots on the APU that compromise its functionality and forces a shutdown under certain conditions. That's literally what was happening to us. A while back, the developer received reports that the latest update of their game, the dinosaur-themed MMO Path of Titans, was causing PlayStation 5 consoles to power off suddenly. Initially, the developer provided the usual basic troubleshooting advice like cleaning the console, but the issue persisted. After pinning the related discussion thread on the developer's Discord server, more people showed up reporting the problem. And after Alderan Games pinned a more general message asking players to report if their PlayStation 5 systems were suddenly shutting down while playing any game, a lot more users showed up with their reports. Some members of the team also experienced similar issues and are now investigating what could be the cause. Everything seems to point to the liquid metal issue, which is more likely to manifest with the console placed vertically. After talking with Sony about this issue, Alderan Games discovered that the more intensive the game gets, the higher the chances are of a PlayStation 5 shutting down due to the liquid metal issues. Goddamn. With the latest update to Path of Titans, the percentage of players affected by the issue rose to 2%, 3%, which may not sound like a lot, but it's still a lot of units. However, better pinpointing what is causing affected system shutdown is difficult, according to Alderan Games founder, as it seems to depend on a combination of where the dry spot is and what component of the APU is stressed the most, as there's no way to track CPU and GPU temperature via software. Troubleshooting is extremely difficult, and any fix on the developer's part, such as limiting frame rate to avoid putting any of the system components under stress, could end up impacting those with fully working systems for no reason. Oh my God. Thankfully, not all PlayStation systems are affected the same way by this design flaw. Sony attempted to fix it in the Slim revision and the PS5 Pro by adding ridges to the APU and heatsink to prevent the liquid metal from dripping to the bottom of the console. Oh my God. So it's still leaking. They just put a little bump there to be like, please don't go and just build up in a different place. The problem is still going to be in the same shit. Older models are more at risk, with most of them now being out of warranty. Repairing them could be a costly endeavor. All right. I'm not going to go too much more, but yes, I mean, this is a problem. This is a big problem with just a basic design. And it's funny because on if I'm not mistaken, on the thumbnail, I put a message saying, PlayStation 5, they can't play games, make games. Now they can't make consoles, right? Now there's a problem with these consoles. And if you don't know what it looks like, there is this convenient video here of this guy who literally shows what it is. Okay, so let's go here and watch this.
Okay, here we go.
Oh.
Wow. That's a massive dry spot on this APU. So this is what I've noticed on a lot of PS5s is there will be liquid metal over most of the APU, but then there will be a dry spot. This one has a huge dry spot on it, and you can see the same thing over here on the heatsink, and it's even like oxidizing a little bit right here. I see that as probably being the main thing that's causing this issue with the PS5 just randomly turning off during a game. Okay.
Dry spot. Now, I'm sure most people get dry when they think about a PlayStation 5, for sure. But I didn't know the actual console itself got dry just from existing. It seems about right. It seems about right. I mean, it does check out when you think about it. But yes, it's pretty crazy that the PlayStation 5 was designed in such a way that failure is inevitable. So basically, I think we know the true reason why they don't make any next gen games. That's why all their games are just PlayStation 4 games running on the PlayStation 4 engines. Because if they try to make anything better, well, I don't think your PlayStation will survive. Hence, Final Fantasy 16 trying to do something different and shutting down my console fucking 4 times. It's a problem.
So it's got a bald spot. Oh well.
It has a bad ball spot, and it's not like it's not something that I think people will be like, "Oh, that's cute." You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. That's a problem.
Oh
What do you
wow.
think, Argy? Do you think this is cool? Let me ask you a question.
Well, it's literally not cool.
It's not literally not cool. Facts. But just a question, so I don't go away crazy, talking to myself when I think about this. Where's all the outrage? Right? Where's all the outrage about Sony designing a system that doesn't fucking work right, that can fail after you spend all that money? And the Pro has the same exact shit. It just has little ridges on the bottom to see if it stops. So instead of letting it go all the way down, it just stops in certain areas. So you have smaller spots that are completely naked. Like, Hargeet, tell me, man, am I crazy? Why is this happening? Why is this okay? What do you think about this, bro?
I always thought this whole liquid metal thing was just a disaster waiting to happen. And we've seen several weirdo things happen, right? It leaks out, and then you get like spots of liquid metal across the main board, right? That was one of the issues, right? And that caused all sorts of odd behavior and some fails, right? Because, well, gee, metal happens to be a conductor, and you don't want to have that across your main board. But, whatever. That was one issue that was going on. Now you have this. I mean, like, this was always going to be a problem, right? And like, the equivalent on the other side, they did the vapor chamber thing. Like it just like it's solid. It just works, and we don't worry about it.
It just works.
Hey, whatever. The funny thing is, like, this is the consumer electronics company, right? They're supposed to be good at hardware work.
This
right?
is the hardware company.
So I don't know. Look, you know why they had to go down this path, right? Is because they found out what the Series X is. Like, Xbox played a shrewd game and told everybody, it's the Series S. The dev kits they sent out were at the Series S level. So everybody thought it was 4 T-flops. And PlayStation said, yippee, we got 9 T-flops. Oh, yeah, we're going to kick their butt. And then they come out and say, 12 T-flops, bitches. And they're like, oh, fuck. Okay, so, well, we're going to get spanked. So what are we going to do? So what do? They overclock the shit. And they say, what's the max thermals we can run on this box? That's what they did. Okay. And then to try to get, make that work, this is the solution they came up with to fix the overheating that was inevitable, right? The 9.2 became 10.28 or whatever it is, with the shifting power between the GPU and the CPU, right? And the CPU was at 3 gigahertz, and they said, oh, well, we'll overclock that 3.5 with power shifting here and there, and don't worry, it's magic. It'll all work. Okay, cool.
Magic.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
That box is the most despicable looking thing. Seriously, the heat sink in that thing they had to put in because they had to overcompensate with their baldness. It's just crazy. It was inevitable. That unfortunately, this was inevitable. And like, if you go back years ago, we all said it like this. Like, at least I said it. Like, liquid metal. You think this is a good idea? I would not put this thing vertical. I do not think it's a good idea. Definitely do it horizontal, because otherwise, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have weirdo issues. That thing is going to die. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm shocked that the obvious thing that was going to happen happened. Wow, I'm so shocked. No, I'm not.
Only they had qualified people who could see the future and know what would take
It's like,
place.
come on. Like, what were you thinking? Then they reduced the size of the heatsink and like, okay, whatever. Like a whole bunch of things that they wanted to do. Whatever. If they had just left it at 9 T-flops, okay, it would have gotten a little spanked, but so what? It would have probably played games better. No weirdo, like, shifting things that are going on all the time and, whatever. I like, but this is Sony. What are you going to do?
G-Maybe says, G-Maybe in the building, thank you, brother, says, Xbox has a quick resume feature. PlayStation 5 has a don't resume issue. Damn. That's fucked up.
I mean, look, to be honest, like, you have a bunch of these, right? This is a problem. And do you keep them vertical?
I keep them all vertical, but they're never
Oh my
on.
God.
So there's nothing to melt them. If anything, I've
It doesn't matter.
solidified
It's
them,
a
making them ice
liquid,
cold.
right? It's a liquid, so it has a natural tendency to just.
So you're saying I'm gonna go turn on this
gravity.
PlayStation 5 one day and it's just gonna fucking
like, man.
oh my
yeah.
God. That's
Okay.
wild. So first of all, horizontal. This shit is not a horizontal box. It looks fucking stupid as fuck laying down sideways.
yeah.
It looks stupid standing up, but it looks worse laying down. And it's so much bigger laying down. Like it takes so much more space. And it's like, why would I
I know.
Why would I
The thing
do
is
that?
just a weird console.
It's a stupid looking console. Just I hate it. I hate looking at it. It's worse, bro. Oh my God. I don't know how this happened. Goddamn Jim Ryan. I don't know.
This would be on Cerny, I would think, right? He's the designer of the box. Right?
But
So
Cerny has to get the okay from somebody. Somebody looked at that shit and was like, yeah, let's do it. Even that motherfucker, didn't Jim Ryan put that shit upside down in that picture? He had the disc was on top. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, as crazy as this is, it's embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing that they are like you said before, the hardware company, right? This is what they're supposed to be able to do. Microsoft is the software company. They're supposed to just be able to do software stuff, but they designed a piece of hardware that is so intelligently built that it has zero issues. I barely come down here and play. I mostly play upstairs on my Xbox. Normally, if I'm gonna come down here, I normally play on the PC, but I have a Series X down here as well. And like it's just on. Like it's just on all the time for years at this point. It just sits there on unless I have a power outage. And then I come back and I turn it back on just for the fuck of it, just so it's there. So it's like that shit doesn't die. It doesn't do anything. It just lives its best life. You know, I don't know how the fucking PlayStation 5 could be designed in such a way that it just will die over time. It's real crazy. It's real crazy. Actually, it checks out though, if you think about it, because they're a hardware company, right? So they're in the business of selling you hardware. So if they sold you a piece of hardware that lasted forever, they can't sell you another piece of hardware, right? So they, by design, are going to sell you something with a shelf life.
Inflate your console sales numbers.
Exactly. And they're going to be like, oops, it's on a warranty.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess you got to buy another one. Oopsie. Oh, you don't want to? I guess you're going to not play any of your games? Whoopsie. This is fucked up.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Well, that's what's going on, guys. It's funny. I couldn't help but laugh at the situation because fucking Sony, you know what I'm saying? It's just fuck up after fuck up. It's great. It's great. I love it. I can't be mad at it. I have to laugh. All right. Do you have anything else to add to this, good sir?
I mean, looks like they're gonna have some sort of warranty situation thingy. Hopefully, I hope. I don't know, but like we'll see what they do, right? Xbox when they had the 360, the Red Ring of Death, Peter Moore went to Bomber and said, "I need to have a warranty for this," and they expanded it. They spent billions, and set it aside. Said, "No, that's fine. We will stand behind the product, and if somebody comes in and says it's RROD, we'll ship a new one, right? Whatever, right? They'll replace it." So we'll see what PlayStation does. Like this is, I'm sure, past warranty, right? I mean, usually it's a 1-year thing. So if your box is failing, what do you do? I don't know. We'll see what they do with it. You might just end up having a piece of junk.
Facts. I mean, you're just trading one piece of shit for another piece of shit, right? Like no matter how you cook it, right? And
I mean, it's literally PS
obviously,
piece of shit.
yeah, seriously.
Piece
I
of
mean,
shit
they've been on point with their acronyms. You know what I'm saying? They've nailed it the entire time. But I'm gonna assume that it's just like any other thing. Like you buy like I always get my appliances from PC Richards, right? I don't know. Over here we have a PC Richards, and I always buy the warranty because they always stand by their warranty. And the one time they didn't stand by their warranty, when there was a salesperson who sold me on a fucking bag of lies, I fucking called and they refunded me my warranty purchase because I was lied to. So outside of that, though, they've been spot on. But I've taken advantage of this. But if you have something that has to be fully replaced, that's it. So you get that one full replacement and then you're SOL. There's no more replacements after that, right? So they're good for one full replacement. That's it. I'm gonna assume that if they send you, if your shit is melting and then you send it to them and they're like, hey, we'll cover it, no problem. Then you get the new one and that bitch starts melting. They're gonna be like, the fuck you will send it back to us. We're not fixing that shit again. Right. Like at a certain point, they have to understand that that's what they designed, right? They designed something that's going to fail every time. And they're going to be out of business if they have to replace every single one that this happens to forever in all eternity. Right. Like it's not going to happen. Right. That's just not it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is where they are, but they chose PlayStation as their preferred way. And that's the reward. PlayStation says, yes, play here all the time. And then we're slowly going to cook your PlayStation from the inside out, and then it will die on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the choice you made. Good for you, ponies. That's what you deserve. You deserve it for trusting in this shit box that exists over here. But I digress. Let's move forward and have a real discussion here that I'm really interested in hearing your take on this, Hargeet, and even the chat, as well. I want to see what you guys think. So the next chapter is going to be. We got some news recently about Xbox possibly having layoffs. That's the rumor that has existed. And Tom Warren from The Verge had done a post on one of his, notebook, right? His premium subscription that you have to pay to read his thoughts on, or the stuff that he says. So VGT put out this post, says Tom Warren from The Verge has obtained information from reliable sources suggesting that Turn 10, the studio responsible for the Forza Motorsport series, is preparing for potential layoffs, paywalled, right? And he says some managers have been informed about the impending changes, and there are indications that these layoffs will have a substantial impact on Microsoft gaming. Okay. And the source is The Verge. Okay. So this is the news that is out there. Now, I'm not saying that this is real, but at the end of the day, it's still worth the conversation because, you know, I've been kind of feeling a certain type of way about Forza. Okay. And I kind of want to hear what you think about it, Hargi, and what, you guys in the chat think about it. So Turn 10 is a beast of a tech company, right? Like, their engine is crazy. What they could do with it is amazing. We've seen Forza Motorsports, running on it that have been gorgeous and beautiful. And then you've had um, Forza Horizons that have just been fucking crazy looking, amazing experiences, open world games like no other. Fucking shits on Mario Party or Mario Kart World, like not even in the same stratosphere. And excuse me. And like I've been feeling like Forza Motorsport is amazing game for sim racers, right? Like, so people who love sim racers, I'm there with you. I think it's great. I enjoy them for a while, right? Like, so I'll go ahead and I play Forza Motorsport for a while, have a good time with it, enjoy it, and then I move on, right? I'm not going to be perfecting my lap times. I'm not going to be maxing out all the cars or buying all the cars or doing all that stuff, right? I'm going to play it for a good amount of time and then move on, right? I'm not a sim racing fan like that, right? Where on the other hand, Forza Horizon has just taken off, right? Forza Horizon is just everything I ever want in a racing game, like in a car game, right? You have the beautiful aesthetics, right? It's a beautiful world they create for you, photorealistic. You have the cars that are just stunningly crafted, right? They're beautiful. There is like no shortage of how varied everything looks in that world. It's just you get so much, right? And I've been just kind of feeling, and if this is true, it kind of will go into what I've been kind of feeling about this, and that's, you know, I feel like Forza Motorsport came and it was again beautiful. Shits on Gran Turismo, like it's just a great game, but it's I feel like it's a niche, you know, like a niche of a niche, right? Like it's like sim racers are not huge, right? You haven't heard crazy big numbers about Forza Motorsport, um, or Gran Turismo or any of these sim racing games, right? They don't have tons and tons of people. The people who love them are passionate, but you don't have, you know, that many, right? And I feel excuse me. I feel like in Xbox's particular position with Forza, I feel like Playground has really taken off with Forza, right? Like I feel like they created the game that everyone wants to play, Forza fan or not, right? And I think I could see a world where Xbox says, you know what? I think Turn 10 is going to be relegated to being an engine studio, like a studio that makes their engine, takes care of their engine, supports um playground games in what they're doing with the engine. And you could even be in a situation where Forza Horizon might take over the sim racing part and maybe even included in the games in the future. You know what I'm saying? Where like you're in this open world and then you could just drive to a track, right? Like drive to an area that is your track race and go in there and have your normal track races, right? And then come out and do something. I don't know. Obviously, it'll be their way of figuring it out, but I almost feel like at this point there's a clear there's a clear division, right? Like, I feel like for a certain amount of time, Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport were okay. They were going back and forth, right? Year, right? One after another. And it's kind of like you were getting this bounce off of each other, and there was always improvements and everything was great. But then I think you got to like, I think it was Horizon 4 that really was like the first game that made like that big separation from motorsport, like that just kind of really pulled away from it. And then I think 5 was like almost the nail in the coffin, man. Like there there's like 40 something million people who've played Forza Horizon. Like that's crazy huge numbers. And I almost feel like you just don't need two separate racers anymore. I think you can get away with one racer that includes both, right? There's nothing stopping Horizon from having a sim, area that you drive to or that you select, and then it becomes a sim for a while, right? But it keeps the same. I feel like everything surrounding the game is just more fun on Horizon, right? Like the spinning the wheel, right? Getting all that shit, finding the stuff in the world, the barn finds, all that stuff. Like there's just so much like actual dopeness that's in Horizon. I just really don't know if Forza Motorsport is necessarily needed, right? Like that's what I feel. I don't know. Again, I'm not a big sim racer, so for me, it's kind of like if they went ahead and kind of merge worlds, it might actually just make it better for me because then I can be like, okay, I'm in the mood to jump into some sim stuff. So let me go and drive over there and take part in that. And if not, then I'm out in the open world, just living my best life, doing open world races. I don't know. I mean, what I want to ask everybody what you guys think out in the world. Like, put it in there, and we'll talk about it. But Hargi, what do you like? What do you think if this is the case that they're possibly letting go some people from Turn 10? I mean, they're not. They're definitely 100% not shutting it down. Like that's a stupid idea. If you say something like that, that's crazy. The team has been around forever, and the engine is phenomenal, right? Like we see what that engine is capable of, and it's a racing engine, but it's also able to be turned into so much more. Fable looks stunning, and I truly believe you might be in a situation where there's going to be more than just Playground who's making shit with that Turn 10 engine. We already know there's another studio that they made at Playground. Who knows what they're making, but I'm sure they're probably using Turn 10's engine as well.
I mean, possibly. We don't know what the future of this is. Like it could be they're switching to to Unreal. That's an option, right? I don't know. Right? But to your point, the Forza Tech engine has been around for a while. They've been enhancing it for a while, and they're running. They're doing Fable in it. They're obviously doing Forza Horizon in it. Now, could they be saying, "Hey, can you do the next Forza Horizon in Unreal?" And maybe that's why it's taking a while to come out or something. I don't know, but like, it's a possibility that they're just going to walk away from that. I don't, disagree with your assertion that like the sim racer versus the arcade racer. The sim racer just does substantially lower numbers than the arcade racer, right? It's very clear. How many, like 40 plus million or something ridiculous for Forza Horizon 5?
It was like but it was 45 or 46 million before it came to PlayStation.
Yeah, and so maybe it's getting close to that 50 million mark now. Certainly that is a very, 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 very healthy number, right? So, and even if you take like say 10% of that as sales, that's a lot of sales. It's fine, whatever. It's probably well more than that. But there's the thing, right? I think didn't they have like over 1 million in just like the pre-order premium upgrade or something like that, right? When it was coming out, so that people could play it early. There was some ridiculous number like that too.
Yeah, I think it got to 2 million in the pre.
Yeah, so like time. Again, it's got plenty of money going into it. So and you can buy stuff in it. So like it's doing fine, right? Could they just add a mode to it, right? You're saying, hey, they could drive somewhere. It could just be a mode. Like you just have a sim racer mode, right? That you at the main UI says, hey, I want to do sim racing. Here you go. And now you got that mode. And the same cars, you just have a different thing. And you have additional cars available to you because it's now a sim racer, right? You can do whatever you want. So fair enough. You have that option, right? So
Man, I almost feel it would be so cool. Can you imagine you go into the open world place, win cars, and then go back and use them in the main track instead of the shit that you have to do to go buy a car in the sim work
Yep.
game? Oh man, it would be better.
And the sim racer has like different circuits, right? So you can go around the world. So and again, they call the last one just Forza Motorsport, right? So maybe that is the platform going forward, and they're gonna just say, let's just refine that and keep it going. I don't know. It's an interesting thing here, right? So you could say, let's say, turn 10, they're gonna say we don't need the Forza Tech engine anymore. We're gonna move it to Unreal. Okay, that's a bunch of people you don't need anymore. But what do you do with like the current games that are in circulation? Do you just say they're cut off? I mean, Fable hasn't even come out yet. So what do you do with that? So it's an interesting place. And again, this is all conjecture. We don't know if any of this is true, right? This is all like, hey, we believe this is happening. They've been notified. Maybe I don't know, right? And look, I think this is all coming out tomorrow. It just seems like it's obvious it's going to come out tomorrow, right? You're not going to release this thing on Monday, so it's probably going to come out tomorrow. So we'll see what this means. And could it be that they're like saying, hey, Playground, you become like the head of Forza? It very well could be. And how many people want to engage in a sim racer? There are enough, right? And it makes it kind of worth it to do it. But again, it could just be an additional mode because it's just a restriction on what you have in Forza Horizon. Horizon just lets you do whatever you want, right? You just say, no, we're going to restrict you in this mode to being on this, track. And so you have to stay. Okay, that's not that big of a deal, right? As far as the continuation of the Forza Tech engine, again, we'll see. They could just say, do we need to do this? Could we leverage UE or some other engine and just move away from it, right? It could be a, hey, what is the advantage of having id Tech, Call of Duty engine, Creation engine, Halo now moving to UE, right? And then this being an engine they have, do we need to keep, like, however many engines they have, like, how many do they need to keep? The good side of having your own engine is you don't pay royalties. The bad side is you still have to maintain it. That's still work, right? So you have to go and do all that work yourself. Whereas if you take advantage of the industry and say, well, Unreal is going to go figure that shit out, we don't have to worry about it, right? That just makes it easier. Maybe they do that. Maybe they don't. I don't know, right? But
I just feel like
it's
the
a
Forza Tech
possibility.
engine in Playground's hands is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it as a racer, Forza Horizon 5 is the most stunning thing I've ever seen, right? And Fable, honestly, like it looked like I think
It
because it
looks
got
great.
delayed and like people don't think about it actively, but if
Yeah.
you watch the latest trailers, it's like Hellblade level good. It's just not dark. It's in the light. Like it looks like a fucking fairy tale game. It looks beautiful, right? Like it's stunning. And they are able to make that in that engine, right? The
Yeah.
versatility of that engine is crazy. So I feel like I really don't think that you're gonna end up in a situation where there's no Forza Tech engine. I think the creation engine is is not gonna go anywhere because of the games that are made with that engine are forever
Yeah.
games. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not like making one game, it's like, all right, well, that game's done. It's like all those games require, like, they just have a certain style, right? So all the games require that engine and they're just gonna keep making it better. So I don't think that's an issue. I think Halo's engine was the one that really didn't, like, they recreated it for Infinite. And I just think that other engines can do what Infinite did without needing to have their own engine. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's not like, what other car racing game on a different engine looks or plays better than Horizon? You know what I'm saying? Like, just there's nothing out there, right? There's nothing out there that touches it. So Like there's no engine. Like you would have to try to recreate the magic, and I don't think that's necessary. These people,
Yeah, and again, I don't know what they're planning, right? So this is all conjecture, right? Any of these things could happen. And so we'll see, right? So I'll slightly disagree on the Halo thing because Halo Infinite gives me 120 frames. So
that's true. It's very optimized. It's very optimized. It's a fantastic
yeah,
engine.
exactly.
But it also was a nightmare to create. And I just don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it.
No, you're right. And
amazing.
it's hard to get people who can work on it. That's been
That's
the problem.
the bigger
right?
problem, right?
And
like Forza
so-
Horizon doesn't need they don't need new people to learn it because they are a well-oiled machine.
It could be the same thing. Like trying to get Fable across, the finish line might be running into some of those issues. Though I think the Forza Tech engine tends to have more of a UE front end, but as far as like the look and feel. But again, it's gonna have diverged since it was created.
Don't forget, Forza Horizon is also on last gen, right? So similar to Halo Infinite, where it ran.
Forza Motorsport is not though, right? I think Forza Motorsport is next gen only. I think
Motorsport is not, but Horizon is, and we already again.
So
who's
but
touching
either way,
the
we will see,
Playground is
right? We will see what they do. I don't know. Like, and there could be other studios and other things, and I don't know. This all could just be their flattening, right? This whole new flattening thing where they're getting rid of middle managers and all that. I don't know. I don't want to make too many conjectures. I could, from a platform perspective, does it make sense to say combine Forza Motorsport into Horizon? I think so. Even if it's an after the fact, like it comes out and then there's a Motorsport, seasonal update or whatever, right? Or DLC pack, right? That gives you the Motorsport part. And so instead of paying $70 or waiting for the next, you just say, okay, this is a $15 DLC on top of it or something like that, right? It's a viable thing to do that because a lot of the foundation's there, right? If you just say, no, it's just part of the game, that's even better. And like, ultimately, the people that want to play the sim, it's just a smaller niche market versus the arcade. It's just more fun to tool around, right? You can just say, I'm going to take a Ferrari and just tool around. I'm in London or I'm in Australia or the whatever locations they've done, right? So why not? It like what the heck, right? So I don't think it actually did London, the UK, right? But you know what I mean, right? So it'd be in UK or Australia or whatever, right? They did Mexico. Have fun, just go running around wherever you want to. And it had some of that it was Project Gotham Racing. I think it was the one that came with the Xbox. Has some of that feel with the kudos that keep them. So it's pretty cool, right? So it's just a bit more fun, right? You're not as locked down to you have to do what they tell you to do. Whereas on a sim racer, you're in a race. That's it. You will just keep racing. And some people love that and good for them. Right. So, but I think that could be a mode and maybe you don't need to have multiple games. So we will see. It could also just be that they stick with Forza Motorsport and just keep updating Forza Motorsport as time goes on. They just keep adding more to that one game. That's also a possibility. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting to see. But we're only talking about Turn 10. I'm sure there are others. So we will see what happens moving forward. We'll see what they're doing. I would expect to see some studios that just recently shipped games scale back because they usually scale up to allow to get the game over the hump there, right? To get it out, get it finished. So you'll probably see some impacts there, and that's just general normal industry layoffs. It's just unfortunately that's how it goes. So
yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. Just to be clear, like I'm not wishing on the death of the motorsport games. Like I said, I enjoy them. They're good. They're just not like long-term games for me because I'm not like a sim head, right? Like I play them, I enjoy them for the time that I play them. I get into it, and then I move on. Where Forza Horizon though kept me fucking like crazy long, right? Like I played it for
I don't know if you played the Hot Wheels stuff. That was also a lot of fun.
I did. Every time there's another update, they just change the game, bro. Dude, I remember Horizon 4 with the Lego land they made. Like, oh my god, this is crazy, bro. Like they're just so good, man. They're just so good. I'm hoping they do more. I saw JD Gamer in the chat. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. He said they need more racers, right? and he has the one that I'm hoping happens. And he says we need a kart racer,
They
a
have
la
one.
character-driven kart racer. Technically, we do have
Yeah.
Crash. Technically,
Yeah,
we
we
have it
have
with
Crash,
Crash
yeah.
Team Racing, but we really need to get the whole of Xbox world in it. Agreed. And I think that that's the next chapter for Forza. I think Forza Horizon karts or some shit needs to happen. I
Who
think you
did the
need it.
kart racer?
The
Crash
Activision?
Team Racing. Who did that? Was that
Oh,
was that given to some third party studio, or was it with an internal studio?
that's a good question. I have no idea.
Because they could just do the same thing and say, hey, we just need to update this, and let's add more of the now Xbox arena, not just have I don't even know if they did really all of Activision, right, to be honest. But so like we'll see. The other thing that's interesting to me is like Call of Duty keeps adding all these weirdo things. Have they added Gears or Halo or things like that in there yet?
In where?
In Call of Duty?
No. There was plans to do Halo for the last season, and then there was word that got pushed to not the last season, the last game, and then there was word that got pushed to this game, but that still has not happened.
Okay. Yeah, I mean those are ones that I
so-
would expect to see. Like they should definitely do that, right? There should be a Master Chief or Arbiter or something or whatever. And
I mean, they've done like I know they did the Diablo chick, I forget her name, the main bad guy with the horns, the girl Lilith.
yeah.
So they did her, but I don't know. I mean, they're adding
There's
so
a
many
lot of options there. Doom Guy, right? There's plenty of options there they could play with. Wolfenstein dude, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I agree. I do see over here. I did not see this, so thank you, my brother. Appreciate your bounty, my dude. I don't know. I'm sorry I missed this. I don't know how it happened. Dude, that $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you, my boy. Says Hargeet, remember when I asked Boom if the S2 was worth it based on my circumstances? It's not. I'll stick with my Galaxy tablet, and it's 14.6 inches. Damn.
Yeah.
That's a big ass tablet. That's like carrying a small monitor with you.
I mean, that was the thing we asked him, was like, do you need the screen space? If you do, then obviously stick to that, right? So, and I believe the Switch 2 is the S2 there. Is that a worthwhile purchase? And it's really just
S2
again
Switch 2.
Yeah, and it's
versus
like
the
just
Galaxy,
how big of a screen you want.
Very different things.
Yeah, so you'd be playing through cloud, right? And we're like, hey, do you want native games? Do you want cloud games? In your use case, if it works with cloud, that's just fine, and you get a bigger screen. So
huge.
it's just up to you what makes sense, right? So,
man, I'm just saying, like, that's a big screen. You travel with that, bring that in on a plane, you set that up in front of you, like so close to you because the seat is like right there. It's like you're at a movie theater, bro. You sit there and watch movies. It'd be great. Wow. What tablet is that, Bounty? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. I didn't
it's
know
a Galaxy.
Yeah,
Galaxy. Samsung.
Is that
Galaxy.
what it's just called? The Galaxy tablet is 14.
Samsung like Galaxy. Yeah, Samsung Galaxy tablet.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. You got the homie Trey Bone 408 in the building with that $2 super chat. Says, here's $2 so you can show the pic I sent to your DM. Pic that you sent to my DM. Let's see what that may be. Yeah, I see something here. See, there you go. Oh shit. All right. There you go. Ready? This. There we go. That is accurate. That is super accurate. 100%. Yeah, that's a real accurate photo, man. Holy shit. The melting PlayStation 5.
That was a great scene, but yeah, now it's funny.
What is that from a movie?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, this is from Terminator 2.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. That was funny. That was a good one. Good one, bro. Good. Let me see over here. I see. Oh, Farrell Bizarre in the building. What's up, man? Thank you, my brother, for being here, bro. Appreciate you, homie. He says, Bounty says it's Galaxy Tab Ultra 10. Okay. Yeah, take a look. Oh, J Mac in the building. What's up, fam? Thank you for being here, bro. Appreciate you, homie. Dem Guts said Turn 10 even helped in development of Xbox One X. Yeah, I think Turn 10 as a tech company, like for what they do with tech, is phenomenal. And I think this is the thing, right? And again, not that I'm advocating for motorsport to disappear, right? But the let's be clear, like they had motorsport, right, to make their car games, but like the tech, they needed something to test the tech with, right? Like to make the tech better, you need to be running something, but they don't need to do that anymore. Like they can use Playground's game. You know what I'm saying? Like Playground can make the game that works with the tech and they can bounce back and forth on that stuff. So I'm just saying it's something that works. But then Gut says Turn 10 gives Playground games everything car related, from the car models to the telemetry. Playground games builds the worlds, but Turn 10 data is what they use as foundation for all Horizons. So like this is what I'm saying. Like that's perfect, right? Like that is exactly what um like what would happen. You still have Turn 10 doing all of this stuff. They just don't need to make their own game in that situation. He also says CMoney, as someone that has tens of thousands of dollars in racing rigs and equipment for Forza Motorsport over the years, Forza Horizon does not have the sim racing physics that Motorsport does. Well, them guts, don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting that they take the Forza Motorsport tracks and just put them in the Horizon world. And when you get to that track, you're still driving like you were driving on the real world, like in the rest of the world. I'm suggesting that they either drive to that place and then they go into the sim mode, or like Hargeet said, it be easier in the mind where it's just there's a mode that you pick and it gets to the sim racer, right? So just the motorsport, like it could just literally say Horizon and Motorsport as your two options and take you off in a different directions. I just don't think, I feel like the sim aspect is not on, like their lack of their sim settings is not on Playground. Like they couldn't do it. It's just they're tuning it for arcade, right? To be different and to be more fun, because it is still rooted in reality, right? Like these cars are not doing things that are 100% out of the realm of possibility. It's just like driving off road, like your suspension doesn't get messed up. You can fly and not die and shit like that, right? Like you hit a big hill and it just turns around and keep going.
And remember that
just
mode could be
combine it.
still done by Turn 10. Turn 10 could be making that part of Forza Horizon
That
6 or whatever,
That too.
right? So it would just cut down the needed overhead of that studio to say, all we're doing is this piece. All the extra overhead of having a studio can kind of just go with it, right? So they'll just do that part and just hand it off to well, they collaborate, right? Obviously they collaborate, as you were saying, as somebody else was saying here. They make the foundation for Horizon anyway, right? So that would still kind of be there. They would just collaborate on that piece, and then they would just say, hey, we're just going to add this part and do what you need to do from there.
Like I just feel like at a certain point you're in a better situation if both games just were one and the same. You go into you buy one game and you get both. It's a Horizon game front and center with sim modes now, right? Like that's the way you still sell it as Horizon. That's still the big pomp and circumstance. That's what everybody's pumped for. That's what it's all there. But it's like, hey, you also get the sim game in here if you would like, right? It's just more data, right? It just makes the game the file size bigger, right? But if you own both games, is there anyway, right? What's the you know what I'm saying? Like there's no difference. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be something that would work better. Let's see. Our boy JD Gamer in the building. Thank you, my brother, for being here, man. Appreciate you, homie. Thank you for that $10 super chat, fam. Appreciate you, homie. Says, actually, it was Beatnox that developed Crash Team Racing. But if we're open to acquiring Sega, then we get Sonic, and outside of Mario Kart, that's the best kart racer out there. Some say it's better. I say it's better for sure, JD Gamer. 100% Sega, their Sonic kart racer is phenomenal. Matter of fact, Mario's out here trying to copy them with the land, air, and sea situation now, where all of a sudden Mario Kart World, you're driving out on water and then you're flying and all this stuff. It's like, okay, I feel like they took a little inspiration from our friends over at Sega. But if Sega, first of all, this new Sega Cross Worlds looks crazy good. They have amazing characters that they're putting in there. My daughters, Doodle, our daughters, are losing their minds for that Hatsune Miku, whatever that the anime VTuber or whatever it is. Season that shit. They're losing their minds over that. You got Ninja Turtles, you got SpongeBob in there now. Like they're killing it, bro. You scoop them up, you could take them as that foundation and just start adding all of the Xbox characters to it. Come on, man. Come on. It's just a beautiful thing. Let's make that happen. JD Gamer, let's start it. All right. We need to make sure this happens. Okay. But yes, I do agree. I do agree with getting a kart racer going. I would love that 100%. What do you guys think about this idea? Do you think there's a world where, they could just be one game? Even if there was no problem, even if there wasn't like a big layoff scenario and they're just restructuring things, I can see that being a great part for a restructure, right? Like, just take turn 10 and bring them into Playground. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not just bring them in? What do they do outside of Forza, right? What do they do outside of that engine? I mean, obviously they do support for their engine and they do support with Xbox, but it's like you could do that from within Playground. Maybe they just put things together, eliminate some double stuff, right? That would make sense to me, right? That would make sense to me. Yeah, see, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are just catching up to what we're talking about, but like Wacko Games, why not just put a sim mode in Forza Horizon? Right? It just seems like that would make a lot of sense. I think that would work. I think that would work. I think that would keep everybody happy because everybody still gets to have the types of games that they would want, right? Without going crazy. Hargeet, any other thoughts on this?
Well, brace for impact. I'm pretty sure tomorrow we'll find out. So let's see what we get.
You think it's going to be tomorrow?
Look, this is a fiscal year change, right? And that usually happens before fiscal year changes, and so it's likely it could happen afterwards. It's possible, but it's usually like before fiscal year change, and fiscal year ends for them at the end of June. June 30th is on Monday. You definitely do not put out bad news on a Monday. You put it out on a Friday. Agreed. So that is just my logic for it. Could it come out after the financials? Sure. Could it come out in the next fiscal? Sure. But usually you get this shit out of the way and then you go into the next fiscal clean with your new strategy, right? At least that's what I usually see.
We get a big notice of a big news drop from Xbox.
I don't know if there will be anything on July 1st, but internal strategy meetings, like this is what we're going to do going forward, right? So we've cleaned the slate. We're done with last year. Now this is next year, right? Generally, that's how things go. Could it be afterwards? It could, absolutely. In general, I think it's before. So my guess, this is just my logic on it. My guess is tomorrow you'll find out. I don't know if it'll be the beginning of the day or the end of the day or whatever the day, because like if it's turn 10, I think they're out in the West Coast. If it's Playground, then it would be in the UK, right? And they have studios everywhere, right? So I have no idea, but my guess would be sometime tomorrow you'll get some interesting.
So we'll know by the
tidbits.
time Night Shift comes around.
In my opinion, yes, likely. But tomorrow's show we will have some
So in
interesting
your opinion, if
information.
it doesn't happen tomorrow, it for sure is not going to happen Monday. And if it doesn't happen,
it's very
they're not gonna
rare
wanna-
that you put out bad information like that. Like it's just that, right? Like normally, if it's something that's going to be
Yeah,
like
sure.
in any way negatively perceived, is like we want to put this out on Thursday or Friday so that it gets into the weekend and we don't have to talk about it. Right? So it's usually Friday is the day, right? And you put out the bad news usually at the end of the day, Friday. Here you go, and well, goodbye. We'll see you next week. Right? So, because then you can digest all that and have fun with it. They don't have to immediately respond. Right. That's how it goes. Right. When it's good news, it's the beginning of the week. When it's bad news, like the end of the week. It's just like whatever. So
the best thing for them to do
tomorrow.
is drop amazing news on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But
I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I no idea. Right. But what I do think is it's very likely that you'll hear. This is just standard mechanics of big companies and what they do. I think you're going to hear about this tomorrow. So because they will have let people know that you're done, and so whether they put it out or not, there will be something from leaks and other things. I just got fired. Right? That you'll see tons of those kind of things, right? Like that'll happen, right? So it's usually good for them to just get ahead of it and say, boom, here you go. This is what's happening. Here you go. Right. So this is just again my opinion, but I could be wrong, but that's my thoughts.
Well, listen, we will find out tomorrow if Hargeet's opinion is correct or if Tom Warren was full of shit and none of this is going to happen, because I highly doubt they're going to drop this news at the beginning of a new fiscal year. So, all right. Well, with that, guys, we're going to wrap it up, man. It's a fantastic show. We started much later than we normally do. But shout out to Hargeet for coming through, standing in for Doodle, who's not feeling well. So thank you, my brother. Guys, thank you to everybody who's here live in the building with us, man. You guys are the shit. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you to everybody who super chatted, man. Just it means a lot to us. Also, shout out to everybody who supports us on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. You guys are the shit. Of course, always remember that the show is brought to you by you. So we do mean it when we say we thank you. You guys are awesome. That being said, we do want to go ahead and shout out our elite members. That's right. We have the homie Big Boy Mike, Dark Angelic, and Queen Witch. And then we have our inner circle members. That's right. The homie Big Mix Gaming and Pragmatic Eagle. Also want to go ahead and shout out the first three people in the chat. Our specials of the night is the best bot himself, Coach Canuck. You have Dark Angelic number 2 and Space Shot number 3 in the building. Thank you guys so much. First super chat of the night was from our boy Space Shot with that $2 super chat. And the biggest super chat was from our boy RC Polygons with that $10 super chat, man. Thank you guys again so much. Shout out to Cubini Gaming for going ahead and becoming a member again. You are awesome, man. So thank you so much. Guys, remember, we will be back tomorrow night, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. The Night Shift Let's Talk Gaming. You're going to see myself. You're going to see Doodle. You're going to see Demo. And you're going to see this dude right here. That's right. You know who the fuck he is. He's the wise one. The author. The Patriots. The Pony Slayer. The Ponybot Tear Maker. It's our boy, Hargeet Shani. He will be live in the building tomorrow. Hargeet, thank you, my brother, for filling in for Doodle, man. We do appreciate you very much. So, tell everybody where to find you, man, aside from tomorrow at with us here again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see each other tomorrow. Right?
tonight,
We'll all be back.
actually.
Otherwise, if you want to check my channel out, Target21, shop.johnny.us if you want to pick up my book. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. So don't need to go too far from there.
There you go. We'll be back at it like a crack addict. You know what I'm saying? We will be back. Thank you all again for rocking with us, man. You guys are awesome. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end the show the way we end every single show. Doodle! We're done. Until next time, you're intruding.